need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut.
What up, man? The real Coach JB. My main man, Big Smitty.
Are y'all ready for this?
Run like something to prove it. Came to a conclusion that is Smitty and JB and Smitty from West Coast to your side, worldwide, we in your city. Keep it 150, we never change what's happening. Hurdle link
In any metric, Coach, you cannot have Russell Wilson.
Nick gave me my first offer. Like, you got to have that store. You got to be marketable.
Hockey, football, baseball, then basketball.
Oh, I love this fucking show so much, man. Are you mixing light and dark at 11 a.m.?
I'm elated that I can be able to coach, that I can be able to mentor these kids, and give them everything that I've learned over the last 20 years.
Get Smitty and Jason Brown, kill the ass a rap. We what the games been missing, we switched it and filled the gap. Smitty and Jason Brown, we killed the ass a rap. We what the games been missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
You are now tuning out to the Coach JB Show.
Hello? Can you hear me? Derek. Man, God, I hate this dang phone line, man. I'm sorry, JB. I spent all this dang money on this phone line, and the signal was horrible. I don't get it.
Guess what? All right, appreciate you. We got a new deal with Mint Mobile. I just saved your whole life in phone drama. Mint Mobile is now a new proud sponsor of the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty.
Stop playing.
Your problem's been solved.
We got a partnership with Mint Mobile? You talking about Ryan Reynolds, Mint Mobile? Stop playing right now. Hold on. Let me Google this real quick.
You can try mintmobile.com/CoachJB and get 3 months free when you use the promo code CoachJB.
Hey, man, I did a quick Google search real quick to make sure you wasn't playing around. They got plans as low as $15? They got plans for $30, unlimited everything. Speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk, text, mobile hotspots. You can talk in Mexico, talk in Canada, and they're built on the nation's largest 5G network. Are you kidding me, JB?
Hey, and everyone wants to know how hard it is to switch to your service. Big Wireless wants to think it's hard. They want you to think it's hard, Big Smitty, but switching to Mint is super easy thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your own home. Mint Mobile does it all. Short, fat, skinny, and tall. That's why the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty is proud new sponsor using promo code CoachJB. Try mintmobile.com. This is where it's at. We got it, Big Smitty.
So, hey, I'm switching over to Mint Mobile right now, JB. I'm done with this company I'm working with. They crazy. The line, it never works. The signal is out, and it costs too much money. I'm going over to Mint Mobile, JB, and y'all should do the same.
Big Smitty, I'm calling you right now.
JB, Mint Mobile.
Mint Mobile, clear as day. I hear you clear. The new promo code Coach JB right here, 3 months free. Mint Mobile, try mintmobile.com/CoachJB and get you there free. 3 months off, family deals, all deals, short, fat, skinny, and tall. Mint does it all. Proud new sponsor. Much love. We'll see you later. Peace. What up, what up, what up? I'm made in the 70s. I'm having a conversation with TikTok who's made in the 2000s. These motherfuckers are weirdos, boy. Let me just tell you. Man, we in the building. It is Doc Talk Tuesday with Dr. Jesse Morris. We got a loaded lineup today. Big Matt McChesney, Steve Kim, Dr. Jesse Morris, and we got Tank Johnson joining in live today. We are here in the building. It's a loaded lineup, loaded show. Lamar's luck of the draw. Is his luck running out? We're going to break that down today. Can't wait because I know I'm about to just get, I'm going to have to fend them off from every which way. Pause, whatever the fuck y'all be saying. I'm going to stop saying pause. I'm going to stop saying that shit. Let's start the show from the very get-go, from the very jump. with my main man, my co-host, my LeBron hairline having, Far East Side, Nap Town's finest, Post Road, 317, Fox Sports, Ball State legend, the new 30-year-old Big Smitty. Clap it up.
What's going on? What's going on, JB? What's the problem?
You got another haircut?
Nah, it just looked like that. You know what I mean? It just looked good like that. I appreciate it though. The fact that you said that, see, men don't give other men compliments. They say shit like that. You got another haircut? Are those some new shoes? Is that a brand new shirt? He's basically saying your boy look good. Appreciate you, JB, man. The hair look good, skin look good. 30's going good so far, JB. 30's going good.
That's not what I was assuming, but okay. See, that's the difference. I think you think that automatically everybody in your age group talk like that. You got a new haircut and you think it's a compliment.
That is.
You got a new haircut because I think it's fucked up. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's old school. There's a huge difference. Don't get it twisted. We got a lot of we got going on TikTok. We got a lot of young cats who can't speak, write, read. A lot of illiteracy going on in America generation, especially the TikTok generation. Very, very illiterate, grammatically incorrect. Need to go back to English 101 class. And Big Smitty, what teacher in your life stood out to you that taught you something that you still use to this day?
Damn, that's a tough one right there,
I got
man.
a teacher named K Ice, cold name too.
K Ice?
K-A-Y, and last name was Ice.
That's fire.
Fire name, right?
That's hard.
He had a fire name. She was kind of fired too. Look at her. She was kind of bad.
You might have to find her on Facebook, LinkedIn.
She was walking down Long Beach. She was walking in Long Beach down. She lived in Belmont Shore, and a UPS truck spun out of control and hit her and blew her through a glass window of a front shop of a small business right there in Belmont Shore on 2nd Street.
What?
And she literally had, I think, like 70% of her entire body skin graft, reconstructed. How she lived, nobody knows. It happened some years before. She was my instructor towards my master's degree, and one of the best human beings, man. She got paid, I'm sure, from UPS, but she great human. But she taught me some real shit, and I was already grown. I was already 26, 7, 8. So I went back to school to get another degree after I was playing and shit. And I was like, she taught me some real shit. But I had some other teachers when I was young too. But older, that was a teacher that stuck out. She taught me some English shit that I could use in layman's terms, not just the technical shit. Like, what is an adjective? Like, she taught you how to use it and why it is an adjective and shit like that. I'm like, all right, I can use that. TikTok, dog, they're fucked. I'm just saying right now. Hey,
I was wondering where we was going with that.
But right now, motherfucker just texted me this morning on here. You are just the R letter.
Yeah.
MEINICE.
A menace?
Yep.
You are a menace, but that's how they spelled it.
A menace. I don't know what it was. It took us a while. Everybody in the chat knew right away what it was, though. That's what's fucking crazy. Everybody in the shit know who it was. It was similar to this, similar to that, but it was YU. You.
Right. That's crazy, man. I mean, listen, we all
invest. This guy from Twitter came over. He said, talk about Lamar. Okay, well, pay us, motherfucker. You producing the show, motherfucker? Get your ass up. I'll talk about Lamar when I'm ready to talk about Lamar, motherfucker. I love motherfuckers that produce the show around this motherfucker. We got a loaded lineup, Big Smitty. We got Victor Jesse Morris. I'm reading his DM right now. That's why. He has a patient for the next 90 minutes, so he's going to try to figure out if he can jump in or not. Big Steve Kim, Big Matt, and then Tank Johnson will end the show with us. And we'll get to Lamar debate then. But he is on the thumbnail. Lamar's luck about to run out. I called it Lamar's luck of the draw. We're going to dive into it. Let's go through the rundown. We'll give you the quote of the day, contrary to belief, and then we'll do a poll question. We'll take some callers today if we can, and we got a lot going on.
We do.
But before I start, Big Smitty, I have never hated on Lamar. I've never hated on Patrick Mahomes. I've never called him out their name. I don't believe we got to clarify what hate is, Big Smitty. See, I don't hate nothing. Have you ever heard me say I hate you? I don't use the word. I think that word is the worst word in the English dictionary. I think hate is the worst word. I've never used hate. I don't even hate my enemies. I don't use it. Because I think eventually you can forgive somebody something and not hate them. So I don't think you should ever hate them from the jump. It's like saying sorry, Smitty. Say smarty, sorry. Because I'm never going to apologize for what? That's who I am. I'm going to tell you what it is and who I am. I'm never going to apologize. That would mean I'm lying.
Right.
I understand why people apologize. You're lying. You are lying to cover up for the original lie. And I'm like, damn, I don't apologize. That's who I am. So the word hate is similar to that. I don't use the word hate because eventually you're going to be like, man, I used to hate you. Now I like you. And you can't. I mean, so you should have never said hate from the jump. So anyway, I don't use the word hate. So hate to me would mean that I'm like assassinating Lamar's character. I'm calling him out for saying how he talks or something, or how Mahomes is and his squeaky voice and all the shit Lamar and he does. And then I could easily be a hater. I'm not a hater. I just tell you the truth. But I have a make it make sense that's going to break it down for you. And we're going to talk about it. But Lamar's luck of the draw right out the gate. Big Smitty's got a bye week. He had CJ Stroud, rookie, on an upstart Texans team. He has the Chiefs this weekend and either the Detroit Lions or the 49ers, who they beat. This is the year for Lamar Jackson. He has to win it this year, in my opinion. But we're going to dive into it. We're going to break that down. Smitty's going to have, a fire take on it in debate, and so is Tank Johnson at the end of the show. But we'll talk about it throughout the show. Callahan, ready to be hired in Nashville with the Tennessee Titans. Smitty, I'm confused. Fire Vrabel for this guy? I'm just asking. Like, let's dive in. We'll dive into Joel Embiid dropped a 70 burger in just 30 minutes with 18 rebounds on top of that. 76ers need to trade Joel Embiid, Big Smitty. Yeah, you heard what I said. Joel Embiid needs to either be traded or get some help immediately. They are wasting a generational talent that we haven't seen in a while since, I would say, different skill set, but a Shaquille O'Neal dominant type of player, in my opinion.
Right.
He's being wasted because this is not a team to win. They can't play defense. They gave up 123 to San Antonio last night. This is just not conducive for them to win a title, and I think they're wasting a great talent, and we're never going to see him win something. Not that I care. I would love for him to stay and try to win one there, like Kobe did after Shaq left. But will he do it now in this generation? We'll see. Dan Morgan, Big Smitty, former linebacker extraordinaire, Miami Hurricane, promoted to the GM of the Carolina Panthers. Nepotism at its finest. He got experience. We're going to dive into it. We'll find out. Chicago Cub icon, baseball's great, Ryan Sandberg, who I grew up watching. Used to give the Dodgers the blues growing up. They used to play in National League playoffs. Diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately. We're the realest show on planet Earth. We got golf on. We talk baseball. We talk MMA. We talk it all. We'll give credit where credit's due. We promote and we help out when we can. And Ryan Sandberg, Big Smitty's probably not old enough to know who he was, but Ryan Sandberg was a legend, Chicago Cub, Wrigley Field legend. He's got cancer. Hopefully he can beat it. In other news in football, Deebo Samuel's traveling back to the Bay. 49ers says that he does not have a fractured shoulder, Big Smitty, and he should be able to go Sunday. So that's huge. Josh Allen came out yesterday after losing to the Chiefs again and says he has total faith in the Bills' window that it will stay open. Josh Allen's taking major heat on ESPN every morning. Like, he's the topic of discussion between Ryan Clark and all these guys. They're going at it about it. Ryan Clark's just been vilifying him. But I haven't heard Ryan Clark be called a hater one time yet. It's crazy, but I'm a hater when
I'm sure on Twitter there's some haters there.
Yeah,
sure come on now.
But I sure ain't gonna like JB. I got a whole Ravens fan base now. All right, Mayo on the Pats rebuild. New head coach Gerard Mayo came out and said he's ready to burn cash. He is ready to burn some cash. That means he wants to go out and try to get some big-time free agents. We'll get into that one as well. Back to the NBA, Golden State Warriors to refocus on their team after the death of assistant coach. Big Smitty, do they make a move at the deadline, which is approaching here in February? Do the Lakers make a move? If so, who do they get? Who do they trade for? Who do they trade to get somebody? We're going to break that down as well today. And Tyler Bass, the kicker, unfortunately, who missed the kick against the Chiefs, deletes all social media after receiving death threats after missing a fucking field goal for a professional organization who needed to hire people for $20 an hour to shovel snow before the game. And then the kicker misses. And then these fanboys who I call out every day from every organization and every fan base has them. Now they're threatening their own kicker. This shit is unbelievable. It makes so much. It gives me that, what do you call it? Cringe vibe or whatever y'all call it. Like,
you always say, what do y'all call it? You know what the fuck it's called. You say it all the time.
I want to slap the shit out of these fans, dog. These fucking fanboys, man. It is unfucking believable. I just don't get it. But that's what we live in, fantasy football world, man. Let's get into the quote of the day. Let's get into the poll question. Let's get into contrary to belief. Let's get into all of it because we got I got a morning rant for you. I got to make it make sense for you. And I can't wait to dive into it with Big Smitty. Quote of the day brought to you by betonline.ag. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Get you 50% off plus welcome bonus. We're 19 minutes in. Pound the like button, subscribe, become a member if you're not one. We need more members. We need more super chats. Smitty's birthday is this Friday, so we need another super chat. It's his quarter birthday. Quote of the day. You never know how strong you are, Big Smitty, until being strong is your only choice.
No other
option.
option.
You never know how strong you really are until being strong is your only choice. Unfortunately, nowadays in today's society and world, not generation, just society in general, old, young, because they're all doing it, we won't even try to be strong no more. Motherfuckers just taking their own life like crazy, right? All-time high suicide. Like, what the fuck? What? I think it's the biggest cowardice move there is. Leaving family members behind because you don't want to face the music is a cowardly act. I don't care what anyone says. Contrary to belief, brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over there as well. The key to learning is an awareness of where you lack understanding, Smitty. The key to learning is an awareness of where you lack understanding. So go learn something. Stop being ignorant.
Got to get up, get out, and do something. Come on now.
Contrary to belief, what we dwell on is who we become. Contrary to belief. Poll question, Big Smitty. Does Brock Purdy need Debo to win? Drop
Debo.
it chat. Drop it out there in the chat. Does Brock need Debo to win?
Man, I'm going to say.
I thought he was a game changer, dog.
I'm going to say no, but there's a caveat. He doesn't need him only if Brandon Ayuk and CMC and Kittle goes crazy. He has so many different weapons that I feel like he could win without Debo. If they go into the game, if Purdy and Shanahan, they both know that they won't have Purdy going into the weekend. I think they'll put together a plan that will utilize Ayuk, CMC, Kittle in different ways that will allow them to play in an efficient manner. Will he be hurt without him? Hell yeah. But I think he could pull it off against the Lions without Debo. Now, they're playing against the Ravens. It's a Super Bowl. Yeah, he need to be fully loaded. He need everybody. He need all his ammo. He need his AKA. He need his Uzi. He need his 22. He need all his weapons with him. But against the Lions, I think they could pull it off without Debo. That's my initial answer.
I don't know. I think he needs a lot. I got a morning rant for that ass, Big Smitty. We got to dive into it. I want to get to the I got a morning rant, and I got to make it make sense. And Bailey, be on the lookout if Doc jumps in. If not, we'll wait for Matt and Steve. But we got more than enough to talk about. The NFL fumble rule is back in discussion, trending on Twitter, Smitty. It's a dumb rule. It's stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I'm looking at tweets of when the ball rolled through the end zone. They reviewed the end zone camera. They reviewed the ruling. And then before it was done, the ball was headed to Buffalo, and they had a chance to go back and win the game. And the Chiefs had a chance to put their foot on their throat and go up 14 or whatever, and the game was over. And everybody on Twitter, between the time the fumble went through the end zone and the Bills received the ball, they were saying to get rid of the rule, Smitty. This is how finicky society has become, especially the fanboys who only know fantasy football and probably had Hardman as one of their sneak pick.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is what they said. The rule is shitty. Get rid of it. It's horrible rule. You only bitch about the rule when it affects your golden boy quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, or your franchise that you root for. Keep it real. The amount of tweets I saw about change the rule, this rule sucks, etc., when he fumbled out of bounds through the end zone is amazing to me. Keep changing some soft-ass shit to please the pussy fanboys out there who DraftKings and FanDuel endorse. Social media crowd, keep appeasing those guys. How about we just keep the fucking rules the same, man? Everybody's had to live with those rules, Smitty, for a long time. A lot of great games. The ball's been fumbled through the end zone. I continue to see the Queendom fan bases just go, get rid of the rule, and we could have lost. Jesus Christ, Smitty. Let's just change every rule. Let's just not have any rule. Let's just take away the fumble. Do you realize where the fumbles become, Smitty? I don't know if you probably don't know. You're probably too young. But when the original fumble rule in the NFL and in regular football, high school, college, etc., was you get up with the motherfucker and hand it to the ref. If anything else was a fumble, Smitty.
Really?
Yeah. Even in the backyard, even in playing in the hood in the backyard or a turkey bowl. Like, if that ball came out, there was no your elbows down shit. Like, the ball needed to come back to the huddle with you. That was the NFL. That was college. That was high school. That was the backyard. That was turkey bowl. You did not have that ball. There was no, I'm down. It wasn't like playing pickup hoop where foul and one. Like, if you're playing pickup foul, everybody calls a foul on their own, and then it gets crazy, and then we've seen people fight. We've all seen other. It's not the same in football, even in the street. Like, you had to have the fucking ball like this, and get up and play the next down, or it was the other team's ball. And that's what it was. If you look at the Franco Harris scoop and score in the old big time, well-documented famous ball and fumble, if you look at all these different rules, look at what happened with the Tom Brady when he was throwing the ball and Charles Woodson hits his ass, and the rules changed from then to now is even astronomical. The rules before the Tom Brady rule and what I'm talking about is astronomical. And now we want to change another rule that says can't fumble the ball out of the end zone. That rule's been there forever, Smitty. We used to try to make that happen. We wanted that to happen. We tried to force fumble. We tried to get safeties. Nowadays, safeties got forward momentum. And motherfuckers down in the end zone, but forward momentum doesn't give them a safety. Like, do we realize that we're just creating these soft-ass narratives, and we keep pushing it to be softer and softer, and we keep giving an inch, and we're going to give and then take a foot? I mean, it's just becoming real bad, and that's why it's becoming unwatchable, man. I just don't think we should change rules every fucking time that it affects your fantasy team. And whatever popular fan base is trending, like the Queendom is now, because the Chiefs are in a 6th AFC title game, so their fan base is probably the most popular, right?
Yeah, right now.
The trends appease them. The NFL and the media will appease them. Look at what Taylor Swift attention is getting. Look at what Kelsey's doing from the shot to everything else. This is all associated with the Chiefs. But yet, the brother, ironically, has fallen under all scrutiny and has been dismissed. No one knows anything about this weirdo motherfucker no more. Charges were dropped, blah, blah, blah. It's funny how we do things to create narratives to get rid of certain other things within that fan base. Because if that fan base is truly the catered to ones, then they're going to do whatever they have to do to protect it. And right now, they're protecting Mahomes' brother. They're protecting his weirdo-ass wife. They're protecting all things weird with the Chiefs fan base and Queendom. They are protecting. And it goes like that with all these fan bases. Dallas Cowgirls fanboys. You got, the Buffalo Bills Mafia. They're slamming dudes off of fucking tables into fire pits, and they're throwing snow at Mahomes, and they're throwing ice at motherfucker. Like, if this ain't WPS white people shit, I don't know what is. Who does this, Smitty? Like, who?
That DPS 101. That's 101 DPS right there.
What I'm saying is, though, it's all about a click and a like. And now it's transferring over into the game. And now we want rules changed to appease our fan base. I'm just over it, dog. That's all I'm saying. It's just becoming ridiculous. Keep the rule. Like, why not?
Now it reminds me, like you said, like even last year or 2 years ago, when a couple years ago when the Bills lost, because they say if Josh Allen would have got a chance to get the ball back, then maybe they would have won. So they changed the overtime rule in overtime. I'm with you. Like, don't change if you're gonna change a rule, change it because of like some other reason. Don't change it just because a fan base got mad on Twitter and started complaining about it, or people were yelling about it. You know what I'm saying? So, because like for example, I wouldn't mind if they did something for the whole what's a catch. Like I don't know what the fuck's a catch nowadays. It's what I'm saying. It's been time to catch it, take 2 steps, hit the ground, the ball comes loose. Oh, he didn't complete it. It's like damn. Like I don't think the refs know what the catch is. So there are certain rules.
PI on the Chiefs. The PI Mahomes has the ball clearly in his hand.
Right.
And I belt the cutter because guess what? The rules allow me to belt the crosser. And I'm taught to belt the crosser so that it's called a reroute. That's what football used to be. So I can reroute you so I can carry the depth so that I don't get fucked over and I'm the hole dropper plus I'm playing the run. That is a good defensive scheme.
Yep.
And my players are doing what we coached. But now you get saved by the Queendom fan base.
And that's what I'm saying. Like certain rules like that, I wouldn't mind being tweaked, not because of that situation. It's just because like it's too much. What's the word I'm looking for? There's too much like gray area. Yeah, it's too much gray area. I don't know if it's this or that. Like no one knows. Even the refs don't know. I like my rules to be like boom, just straightforward. This is what it is. The light is red. Stop. Like ain't no confusion on well, should I go through it or should no? It's fucking red. Stop. So again, I don't mind them changing it, but don't change it because of particular plays or because you're trying to show favoritism to a particular, team or a city or whatever the case may be. And that's why the whole conspiracies come out a lot of times during these games and during the seasons because fans are like, hold on, man. You called this in this situation against this team, but then the same thing happened against this team and you didn't say anything. That's why the whole conspiracy comes out and people start to think that, are you trying to, cheat for the Chiefs or cheat for the Bills or cheat for whoever? I'm not saying that's the case, but these are the reasons and scenarios that the narrative even comes to light. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm with you on that, man. The touchback rule has been like that forever. It very, very rarely even ever happens. So why am I going to focus on a rule being changed that like 99% of the time doesn't even affect the game at all? You know what I'm saying? Like, hold the ball. Shit. Like you're by the end zone. Like, don't let go of the ball. It's what it is. It was a great play. Hit the ball out of his hands and fumbled. Ultimately, it didn't affect what happened with the game. The Chiefs still won. So it's what it is. I don't know why they even tripping.
See, this is the ignorant shit that people say because
Cambray Rose.
Say his name.
Cambray Rose. What's good, KB? Why you laughing? It's my homie Cambray.
No shit, I would have recruited him. I mean, homie, this shit is unbelievable. What does that have to do with what I critique in the NFL? Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. What the fuck is that? Have I not on this show said Lamar would be number one for me? I mean, Alan's in the chat who played for me, who's very similar to a Lamar skill set. Long, athletic, freak, could throw it, spin it. Alan could spin it much better than Lamar. But this is who I recruit. This is who played for me in college. This is what it was. Like, no shit, I would have recruited him. You fucking idiot. Are you that fucking dumb? Seriously, are you in the chat to be that dumb? No, I wouldn't have recruited him to play for me in fucking JUCO. You fucking idiot. Now, go away. Now, make it make sense, Big Smitty. Let's do a segment. We got to get a fucking graphic made. Make it make sense. Patrick Mahomes. Before we get to Lamar and everything, because we got a loaded lineup. Make it make sense, Smitty. Patrick Mahomes is still being tossed around as if he is the GOAT. Okay, now hear me out here, Smitty. Hear me out. Please make it make sense. Okay, I want you to make it make sense. Please, you novice fan, queendom fanboys. I want you to make it make sense. He has had one of the worst seasons of his professional career. He has had less wide receiver talent around him. Agree, Big Smitty?
Agreed.
He has a top 5 defense, a Hall of Fame tight end, and yet they are back in the AFC Championship game for a 6th season in a row. Make it make sense, please, Big Smitty. Remember, Big Smitty, halfway through this season, he had no Tyreek Hill. His queendom fan bases were calling out for everybody to get him talent. There's no talent around him. It's gonna be, we're bad. He's having a bad season, and blah, blah, blah. Nobody can catch the ball, Big Smitty. We dropping the football. We're offside. Then Taylor Swift comes in, and she's affecting Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce's got a gut on him, and he's getting fat. Yet, Big Smitty, here we are again. He's back, people, for a 6th time in a row. Make it make sense. Michael Vick had a very similar attack on his career after jail. After he did his time, he was a washed up nobody. Nobody would pay him. Remember that, Big Smitty?
I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember that.
I think Big Smitty trying to figure out where I'm going.
I have no idea where you're going.
Make it make sense. Mahomes is the GOAT, but y'all said all this other shit that needed to happen because he wasn't going to be the GOAT, because he probably wouldn't win this year, because he was going to struggle. He had no wideouts. He had no Tyreek Hill, blah, blah, blah. Isaiah plays. Smart person, Isaiah. You're figuring it out. Make it make sense. Maybe it's fucking Andy Reid. Maybe that's the reason why they're in a 6-1 in a row, people. Maybe that's why. If we do the common attachment of common narratives and common denominators, maybe Andy Reid is the fucking reason that we don't have any receivers. We drop all the balls, and yet we're back. Patrick Mahomes had his worst season, and yet we're back. But I haven't heard anybody say Andy Reid at all. Everything's Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. Maybe, just maybe, when you throw for 180 yards in a Super Bowl, and then 2 touchdowns the other night to win the game, 200 yards basically he threw for. Let's not act like he threw for 480. 200 yards. Maybe
looked good.
The GOAT is Andy fucking Reid. Can we make it make sense, please, people? Why do we always jump over the common denominator of all these things on why Alex Smith had a great career underneath who? Andy Reid. He didn't really have a great career under anybody else. Why did so many quarterbacks such as Donovan McNabb and all these other people have their best career stats under Andy Reid? Why did Jeff Garcia leave the Niners and come on over to the Philadelphia Eagles and have his best career ever? Why did AJ Feely, a nobody, come over and have a fucking Pro Bowl type of season under Andy Reid? Make it make sense, but we fucking salivate, dog. It's like a AE eating some caviar over here. Like, these motherfuckers is salivating over one person, and its name is Patty Mahomes because the media wants it to be. Andy Reid gets yet zero fucking credit. Zero, Smitty. And people say, well, why didn't he win a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb? Do you want to compare the rosters and the talent around them for the first 5 seasons? Please do, because I've done it. I can show you film and I can break it down. So please do. Other than Patrick Mahomes, other than Travis Kelce, let's just discuss it. Go down the list. You had a T.O. for 1 season in Philly at wide receiver. Basically, that was the one outside guy. But listen, I'm going to watch that. With Travis Kelce.
I hear you.
I'm just saying, what do you got? One guy. You had one guy in Philly. At one point, you had 2 Hall of Famers in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill for his first 4 years and Kelce. Philly never had 2. Frisco never had 2 when Jeff Garcia was there. He had T.O. and who?
In Frisco? Jerry
Stokes?
Oh, you mean young? Oh,
I'm just trying to figure out. Name me all the guys, if we want to completely compare rosters on why guys didn't win versus a horrific AFC West run for the last 6 years. Let's just be honest. The AFC West is as garbage as the AFC East was during Tom Brady's run.
Right.
Please tell me. I want you to make it make sense on why only one person gets credit. And Andy Reid just sitting there with a frozen beard, just getting it done over and over. Then it was EB. EB left, and we're struggling, and it's EB because he left. You're back again in a 6th AFC title game. EB's looking for a job, and we're sitting here still avoiding the common denominator of fucking Andy Reid. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I just want y'all to make it make sense. Please do. Go ahead, Big Smitty, before we move into the script, because this shit is crazy to me, and I just don't get it.
That was your real rant right there. That was beautiful. Listen, I mean, I think I can't make it make sense. I think Andy Reid deserves a ton of credit. Andy Reid is an all-time great coach. Some people actually do think he might end up going down as the GOAT, even over Belichick. I've been hearing that getting thrown out now. I think him and Mahomes deserve equal amount of credit because at the end of the day, you said it before as well on this show, a coach can draw up the greatest play of all time, but the player still got to go out there and do it at the end of the day. So, yes, Andy Reid is scheming his ass off. He's figuring things out. This is his probably worst squad he's had with the Chiefs, since he's been there, or at least since Mahomes has been like the starter, and they still are in the exact same place. So you have to give Andy Reid an immense amount of credit for figuring it out and motivating that team in whatever way he had to do to get them feeling good and playing good. Kelsey is back playing at a very high level. There was points in the season where he was kind of struggling, dropping passes. He looked real good last week. Mahomes, I thought, looked really efficient, really good last week. You say he only threw for 200-something yards, yeah, but it was a good 200-something yards. Like the way the game went, he looked confident. He was efficient. Receivers were catching passes, and I just have to give credit to the leader in Andy Reid. But again, I don't want to live in a place where because we're giving one person credit, we have to take away credit from the other person. Like, yeah, Andy Reid's that guy. That doesn't belittle what Patrick Mahomes is doing. And yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes is that guy. Doesn't take away from what Andy Reid is doing. I think they're both necessary for this thing to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Mahomes is not there, they're not having this same amount of success. And if Andy Reid's not there, I don't feel confident that the Chiefs will have the same level of success. Andy Reid has never won a Super Bowl prior to Patrick Mahomes. So we can say we can talk about NFC championships he went to. We can talk about going to a Super Bowl with McNabb. We can talk about he didn't have talent. We can talk about all the different excuses. The facts are he's never won a Super Bowl outside of Patrick Mahomes. So we cannot belittle the greatness of Mahomes and what he means to that city, that team, and what he means to Andy Reid. The same thing goes for Mahomes. To this point, Mahomes has never won a Super Bowl without Andy Reid. Now, I'm sure he'll have some time because I do think at some point Andy Reid will retire and Mahomes' career will still be going on, and we shall see what happens. But until then, these guys, they need each other. It's peanut butter and jelly. It's sugar and Kool-Aid. They need each other right now. They're both great. I don't think one belittles the other. And
if that argument you just made was for a Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, then I think it would be more valid because Brady left and won one without Bill Belichick.
Right. We have
Mahomes hasn't won a Super Bowl without Andy Reid either.
I just said that though, and I just said that.
Well, you said Andy Reid hadn't won a Super Bowl without Mahomes.
I said both. I said that, and then I also right after that I said Mahomes hasn't won without Andy Reid. I said, but I do think Andy Reid will retire at some point, and Mahomes will still be playing. So we'll have the opportunity to see if he can do that at that point. But until then, they both need each other right now. And the reason why people call you a hater, JB, is because you always find an angle to take away from Mahomes. I'm not a Chiefs fan at all. They don't like me either. But I try to still give credit when credit is due. I have yet to hear you come on here and just be like, you know what? I ain't gonna lie, man. Patrick Mahomes, he played a really good ass game last week. Played well in the system, no mistakes, made some good throws. Like, it's always something. It's always, hold on, we talking Mahomes. What about Reid? Or what? That's why people call you a hater. Yeah, you don't use the word hate. You never said I hate Mahomes. But when your energy about somebody, Mahomes, Lamar, is always tailored or pointed in a direction of negative or pointing them down because they didn't throw a certain way or they didn't read a kid. It's always that. It's never just come on this show. You know what? Like Matthew Stafford, you're a fan of Matthew Stafford. He can make mistakes, and you will come on here and you will find a way to make sure you're praising Matthew Stafford on how great he is. Mahomes will go out here and throw 5 touchdowns, no picks, and you're going to find something in some way to say why this motherfucker's not good. So and that's why
is that? You mentioned Stafford, you mentioned Mahomes. Why is that? If Stafford was limited and did certain things which I call gimmicky, then I would be saying those things. I'd be using that. I'm not changing my opinion for soft society to adhere to their pussy rules. I'm not going to agree with all these soft pussies from the chat to Twitter to Instagram because they don't know what I know. Let's just be quite clear about it. I have a resume. Let's break it down real quick. 28 guys in the NFL, 10 NFL first rounders, 3 NFL QBs. I've played in the NFL on practice squads, NFL Europe, arena football. So I got to check playing the game. I am still a 1%er, contrary to belief. I'm supposed to adhere and bow down and say, you're right, people that don't know any fucking thing about anything. I'm supposed to do that. If I don't, I'm a hater. No, Stafford can do everything that Mahomes can do plus more. So if he were to go out and throw a shovel pass for a touchdown to win the game, I'm going to bring it up and say, hey, great scheme. Just nobody thought of it. Nobody thought Stafford was going to drop back and shovel the ball. But when someone does that as their main course meal, and that is what they do on a daily basis, and 50% of the balls are thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Now, to his effect, to his credit, he didn't do that the other night. He actually threw the ball down the field, even though it was only 200 yards. He made additive plays to throw the ball down the field.
You see what you just did?
Josh Allen, however, had 50% of his balls behind the line of scrimmage the other night. To make my whole point round, just because mediocrity is your new excellence does not mean that I'm going to accept it, Tommy. I'm not accepting the fact that NFL quarterback plays at all fucking time low just because you are. Not you, Smitty, in totality, but everybody's accepted the greatness of so-called Mahomes, the greatness of so-called Josh Allen. I think mediocrity is the new excellence. I believe that we have hit a point to where we see a 24 touchdown throwing Lamar Jackson and are calling that he is the undisputed MVP. I think it's mediocrity at its finest. I'm not changing my stance. I'm not changing my viewpoints. If you think I'm a hater because I think 24 touchdowns is not worthy of an MVP, then so be it. Call me a hater. And then it's going to be the black quarterback, Jay, we don't like. Really?
Chat.
I don't like the black quarterback. But I've sat here and just dissected every garbage-ass white quarterback we could think of. From Derek Carr to Baker Mayfield, stop it. So I'm going to always come in here and tell you what this guy can do and what this guy can do. But I'm not changing my fucking stance just because the America is mid, as y'all say. Y'all mid now. You accept it. I don't. Sorry. So I will die a hater, and then you will die a fucking dick rider. That is what you guys will die as because you literally don't know what you don't know. But you assume to know what you don't know, which makes you even a bigger fucking fool.
But it's not just random people on Twitter who thinks Mahomes is great. It's us other greats who think they're great. But Brady thinks Mahomes is great. Brady, like the GOAT, thinks he's great. So, like,
of course.
So I'm saying these are other guys who have the same credentials or even possibly more than you, who also thinks opposite of you. So it's not like because someone thinks he's great doesn't mean you're a dick rider. I don't even like the Chiefs, but Mahomes is like that. Like, it's not some accident that the motherfuckers isn't 6 times in a row. JB, come on now, like,
you're making my point for me.
I'm just saying, like come on,
I'm trying to figure out what you missed what all the shit I just said you missed. Not you, but everybody. And then you just missed what I said as well. But with the 6 times in a row statement, and with what other pros are thinking of him and saying of him, and Tom Brady thinks he's great. Why does Tom Brady think he's great? Tom Brady's also come out and said he's great because of what? A mediocre NFL who can't hit the quarterback anymore, who's adjusted the rule changes for the receiver to not be hit over the middle, can't get rerouted. You just saw a game-changing flag thrown to save the Chiefs on a PI throw that wasn't PI. So tell me that why Patrick Mahomes is being called the GOAT by GOATs like Tom Brady.
And always have been.
No, mediocrity is the new excellence.
Fucking Tuck rule is what made Brady. It got his shit started. So I don't want to hear nothing about no rules. That's been like that. It's been bad calls. Don't roll your eyes. That was a horrible call. That's a fact.
We're talking about a call versus a rule. Tom Brady still got hit in the chin, bro.
I hear you, man, but I can't, because if this is the argument that you're going to use.
I just want to know why I'm the one that's on the pedestal as being the hater, and all of you are legitimate, credible.
Nah, I've been a hater on Kansas City multiple times.
I'm just saying, yeah. I'm called the hater, but everybody else is full credible. And these are motherfuckers that work at Walmart who's never played the game ever, who's never coached, who hasn't sent 28 guys to the league, who hasn't sent who didn't play, but they're credible. I'm the hater. Let me make that make sense. Please, make it make sense for me. I'm going to wait.
The reason is, JB, you never come on here and just be like, after a week of great football from somebody, and be like, you know what? I don't like Mahomes. I don't like the Chiefs. But I have to tip my cap. The guy
have I not done that?
No, since I've been on the show, no.
Yes, I have. Wait up, time out. You're mistaken. I don't call you a liar because I know you would say it if you remembered. I've been on the show and said, this guy is number one on my QB list.
Yeah, you said that.
Several times because of what reason? He wins. I have literally said it. We have graphics made of me having Mahomes as number one, but people forget that so quickly.
No, I didn't forget that. You are right. But I'm saying I feel very confident that if we could like pull those whole fucking 10-minute block or 5-minute block conversations, that you will start off saying he is my number one because he wins. But and then after the it's like a whole bunch of stuff of why.
Well, how is that a hater? We've done that with everybody forever. We've done that with Joe Montana and Steve Young. Steve Young won, but he inherited Joe Montana's roster. Like, come on, man. We've been doing this forever, but I'm the hater because you don't like me cussing, homie. Keep it 100. But pussies are soft. They're soft now out here, Smitty. They don't like me already. It's already a preconceived notion that they don't like me. So anything I say is hate. But we go back in time, and if we want to listen to great analysts speak, they've literally done what I'm doing now verbatim, and they're considered credible.
True. I guess what I'm saying, I'm not, first of all, just for clarity, I'm not saying you're not credible. I guess what I'm saying is, there are certain players, even myself, like for somebody could call me a Daniel Jones hater because from the beginning I said I ain't like him. I never really give him credit. You can call me a Lamar Jackson fan because I typically steer positive with Lamar Jackson. Doesn't mean I never criticize him, but I usually find a way to steer positive. I will admit that. You typically steer positive with, like, again, a Matthew Stafford, a Brady. You know, any of the old school quarterbacks, the traditional 5-step drop back. Mahomes, for just being honest, you typically, even when you give a compliment, it's like, I know for a fact, after that compliment, there's coming some negatives coming after that. I have yet to this year.
Hating on, you say hate. I don't call it hate. I call it truth. On Josh Allen, or Baker Mayfield, or Derek Carr, or Justin Herbert, or Aaron Rodgers, calling him overrated because he can't beat the Niners when it counts. Why don't I get hate for that? I'm curious. I'm just waiting.
Because I think for those other quarterbacks, like even Aaron Rodgers, for example, he gets both. Like you'll say that he's overrated, but then you'll say he's best ball sprinter of all time and he's great. It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna give Aaron Rodgers every day. Like there's some shows you come in here and he's got nothing. You've been on his side with everything. None of that. So it's like, okay, Aaron Rodgers kind of like 50-50. With Patrick Mahomes, the fans come to this show. When we have a Patrick Mahomes thumbnail, Chiefs Queendom, they know they coming to this show because you're about to give him hell. You're about to have on your Chiefs Queendom t-shirt. You're about to talk shit against the Chiefs. They know that. When they come to the show, they know I'm about to praise Lamar. They know that. We have our things. We know that. So I'm saying it's not by accident that people, like the fans, that they're looking for that. It's the reason why the Chiefs fans come at you. It's not like they're just doing it for shits and giggles. You do go at Mahomes. I'm not even saying you're wrong.
Here's the reason, though. Like, people get confused. Even one of my boys who's a coach, college coach, comes on Twitter yesterday and was like, JB, you know, I love you, but this guy's been to 6 in a row, blah, blah, blah. So, and we go back and forth on Twitter, right? And he'll be at the Super Bowl party. He's a good dude. The cool part is, like, we can't discuss or break down facts anymore in today's world and society with social media because you are automatically a hater if you do not agree with the common narrative that's that's trending on Twitter or whatever. If you go against that, you are the automatic hated one. Let's just keep it real. Whether it's a blue or red thing in politics, a right or left thing in politics, whether it's a climate change guy agreeing to non-climate change guy, whatever is trending, you go against it, you are the hater. Then they'll use negative. Then they'll start using racial connotation and you're a sexual deviant and you're sexist. And everything will go towards anything that you disagree with. And that's just the truth. And I'm here for it. I love it. It makes my dick rock. I'm just being real with you. I fucking love it because I'm going to die with my ass up so y'all can kiss it. That is the fact of it. I'm not a yes man, homie, and I'm not going to play the victim. Motherfuckers want to be yes men, play the victim, do all these other things because their fucking narrative isn't being pushed. I'm not that guy. So whether this show gets canceled, whether we go off into the sunset, or whether this thing blows up, it's going to be because we're real and we're the realest one on this planet Earth. Smitty's ready to break out of a cocoon because he's like, it's cracking right now. He wants out so bad, but he works for certain people. He has to wait. So I think Smitty's going to do so. He's going to still have his fucking beliefs and his takes, which makes a human and makes this show unique because that's why everybody loves this show, because we don't have to agree. I don't want Smitty to agree either. But if he changes my mind, then so be it. I will tell you he did. And if I change his mind, so be it. He'll say it. But a lot of people won't do it. They'll fucking sit there and say, damn, Smitty was right, but I'm not going to admit it. And they'll fight it all day long on social media. Like, just keep it real. They will fight that shit all day long, even though personally they'll say, damn, Smitty was right. JB's right. That motherfucker is right, but I can't say he's right because Twitter's trending and saying ESPN said Mahomes is the GOAT. Why hasn't ESPN mentioned Andy Reid one fucking time? I'm just waiting. I haven't heard Andy Reid being mentioned one time on ESPN as the guy that's getting this thing done, the guy that's creating an offense that's conducive to Patrick Mahomes to have no wide receivers who have balls dropped at an all-time high this year. Why is this not being mentioned? Why do they have a top 5 defense? Why are the Chiefs the only team in the NFL this year that has scored more points in the second half versus allowing less points in the second half than any other team in the NFL? Is that fucking Patrick Mahomes? Or is that Andy Reid making some fucking adjustments in the halftime? But nobody wants to talk about it because you are fantasy football fans. You want Mahomes to get you 50 fantasy points and then he's the greatest ever. But no one talks about Andy Reid making all these fucking decisions in the back room that's allowing fucking counter to be spilled in the second half, and that Buffalo didn't counter it. And instead of running the same fucking play on offense, how about you pull the tackle and the guard this time, Buffalo? Because Kansas City just spilled everything to the alley. And guess what you did in the second half, Buffalo? You ran the football for 30 yards. But nobody's talking about that. Guess who won? Patrick Mahomes. Really? Did Patrick Mahomes spill the fucking alley the other day and take on the fucking tight end floater and crash everything inside and stop the run game? Or did fucking Andy Reid and the DC make some goddamn coaching decisions like they've done all season long with a mid-ass roster? But we don't want to talk about that on ESPN with Dan Orlovsky and fucking Ryan Clark. We're only going to talk about fucking Josh Allen choking. How about you start giving homage to the motherfuckers that actually have to deal with your bullshit drama with prima donna overpaid mid players And how about you start giving those guys pay homage to those guys like Andy Reid? I haven't seen him mentioned one time on mainstream media yet because it doesn't get clicks and likes. The only thing the only thing Andy Reid's trending on is a frozen beard, a frozen mustache. That's the only thing we talked about Andy Reid. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you're killing me with this drama. And you wonder why when Andy Reid has a bad year, guess what? He'll be the first guy mentioned to be fired.
I'm with you. And I ain't arguing.
You can't tell me, Smitty, that the Queendom fan base, because I know for a fucking this happened. When Andy Reid's son almost killed a dude before the Super Bowl on a DUI case, and they lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks and got blown out in that Super Bowl, he was fucking trending by the Queendom fan base to get rid of him, fire him. He can't manage his sons. He's had 2 major problems with 2 different sons, blah, blah, blah. Then they get blown out. And now what? Now what? I don't see any of that. But when I go on a Kansas City radio show and tell the truth, these motherfuckers hang up on me. Because the truth hurts these soft pussies, man. And they want yes men. Yes, yes, yes. That's not me. I'm not going to agree to a mediocre NFL. I'm not going to agree to him being the guy just because that's what everyone wants me to say so they can say I'm not a hater. Big Smitty, do you really think by knowing me that I'm going to go out there and come out and say, all right, guys, I apologize. I've been totally wrong on Patrick Mahomes. He's really the GOAT. He's an all-time great. I'm so sorry, everybody. So everybody could say, it's okay, JB. We accept your apology. We love you. It's okay. You could be wrong, bro. Blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck out of here. You think I'm going to do that, you soft pussy motherfuckers? You got me fucked up. That's what the problem is. That's what we expect nowadays, though. We want that shit nowadays. We want you to apologize to tell them that you're so sorry. Fuck your apology, motherfucker. I ain't apologizing to shit. Patrick Mahomes is mid as shit. Plays in a gimmicky fucking system. And that's allowed him in a shitty-ass AFC West and a shitty-ass AFC to get to where he's at right now. A 6th AFC title game. I don't hear you motherfuckers mentioning that shit about Tom Brady. Why'd he go to so many in a row? The AFC East was the worst fucking division in football for 20 years. But now Mahomes is the GOAT. Guess what? He lost to who in the playoffs?
Brady.
At 40 years old, he lost in an AFC game and he lost in a Super Bowl to the same person who you now are anointing the GOAT over in Tom Brady. How can you beat the champ if you ain't ever knocked out the champ? I'm curious how you will ever be the GOAT if you ain't ever beat the GOAT head to head.
You know, to be devil's advocate for the Chiefs Kingdom fans in here, that AFC Championship game, if my mans just don't jump off sides, the game is over. I mean,
it's a fairness. If Vinatieri don't kick 3 field goals, Brady has 3 less Super Bowls.
Yeah, but that's different though. Like,
well, it's not really different.
That was a dumbass play. Like, me and you play ball though. Like, we know good. Nick, watch the ball. Like, don't watch the ball. Like, what are we doing? Like,
hey, shit. If Tony don't return a punt last year, Mahomes don't win against the Eagles. What are we talking about? You come in and say this shit all the time, homie.
That's like an actual play, though.
You tell me 2 things can be true every time. Jalen Hurts, if he don't run for 300, come on, man. Patrick Mahomes got saved by a PI and a punt return. Why are we not talking about that? It's all part of the game, dog.
I'm saying a punt return or running for 300 yards. That's you balling out. That's you making plays. I'm saying you jumping off sides and when the game is fucking over makes it like that's just a dumbass bonehead fucking error. Like the dumbest shit as a D lineman, that's the dumbest shit you could possibly do in that situation. If anything, I'm coming off the ball late. If any in that situation, if anything, I'm a smart player, so I can't watch dumb shit and be okay with it. So
I want to take a page out of a book on somebody that's on your network right now, who's a friend who I've been around since he was a little kid at Dominguez and Compton College with his older brother and played at Boise State. And I used to coach all of them up with my boy Keith up at Compton College, Richard Sherman. I've been on the same thing, and I'm glad Richard comes out because he's Compton's finest and we keep it real. So he's come out and said something similar to what I have said. And what he has said is that Patrick Mahomes has a Hall of Fame tight end, a top 4 defense in the NFL, a Hall of Fame head football coach, and he has said that anything that happens on that team, Mahomes gets full 1,000% credit for.
Every quarterback.
Okay? No. Not every quarterback. Because if we switch it and we mention that when someone else does it, we go straight to who? The reason for what happened. So in Patrick Mahomes, or in Tom Brady's instance, we talk about Vinatieri. We talk about Vinatieri and all the different things that allowed them to win the game in a 10-7 Rams game, in a 13-10 other Rams game. We mention all the other things that happened, but then later we'll flip it and say, Tom Brady's the GOAT. Well, Belichick gets no credit for allowing 10 fucking points, I guess. Belichick gets 0 credit for allowing 7 points to a fucking all-time offense in NFL history, I guess. That's all Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady just went out and threw for fucking 660 points, right? They won 13-3. Like, are you fucking kidding me? But when Mahomes does it, it is all Mahomes. We don't talk about tight end Travis Kelce being a Hall of Famer. We don't talk about a top 5 defense that has shut down opponents week after week. We don't talk about any of those things. All we mention is, if the ball wasn't dropped, Mahomes would be 13-3. No. If the defense wasn't what it was, and if he didn't have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce all these years, maybe Mahomes wouldn't be who he is. But we don't mention that. We're scared to say it because we don't want to ruffle the Queendom fan base. I'm just telling you, people are really, really picky with their narratives, and it's really sad. And I'm not jumping into it. I'm going to keep being me, just like Smitty going to be keeping him. I'm just telling you, it's a team sport. I'm just real talk.
I hear you. I ain't got nothing else to add, man.
All right, so we got a lot going on. We went on that rant. Lamar's luck of the draw is his luck running out. It's on the thumbnail. Again, Blake Bortles doesn't get the point. He said Mahomes still won without Tyreek. Come on. Blake, you're smarter than this. I know you live in buttfuck Kansas, but you are smarter than this. We just had a whole 30-minute rant on this, bro. Maybe it's because of fucking Andy Reid, you fucking non-listening fucking Mahomes goggle-wearing fuck. Shut the fuck up. See, y'all don't listen. You just hear. God. Lamar's luck of the draw, Smitty. Here's my number 2 quarterback I hate on.
Yeah. Now you really hate on this one.
See, I don't hate on him at all. I've actually came out and said I hope he fucking wins the thing. But I'm the hater. Here's it is. Lamar is luck running out. I don't know if his luck's running out. I think luck of the draw is more of the right statement. He's had a bye week, which he's earned. Okay. I believe the defense earned it, but he's earned it. He has he beat a CJ Stroud-led upstart team that no one expected to even be in the playoffs.
Who was hot as grease. Hot as grease.
And then, let's be honest, it's a team that won 3 games the year before.
We call CJ Stroud the MVP. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You don't see that too often. I said CJ Stroud's already a better NFL quarterback than Lamar.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cool.
They got the Chiefs this weekend, so a team that's very experienced, a Super Bowl winning, 6-time AFC title game.
Andy Reid coaching, all that.
This is a test, right? It's gonna be a test,
big ass test.
And then he has Detroit or the Niners, who they beat pretty badly. Okay,
shout of them.
So the point of this whole thing is it's the luck of the draw, and I'm not going to call any quarterback in the NFL that wins lucky. What I'm saying is that this is the year Lamar needs to win it. If there's any year ever, and there's ever been a year, this is the year. You have no Aaron Rodgers in this league. You have no Joe Burrow this year in the playoff. You have a very limited selection of competition to go against in this AFC playoff run. This is the year. And if you don't get it done, what is going to be the narrative? Am I just a hater still? All I'm saying is this is the year you get it done. I'm not going to come out and say make excuses as to why they won if he does win. He's won a Super Bowl. I'm going to come out and say it. I'm not going to say, well, the Super Bowl was shitty. I've already said my take and narrative and everything about the NFL. We already know what I think of the NFL. So I'm not going to go beat a dead horse and be like a bitch made ass little boy when I'm like, you know, those little soft, just because you're soft, you didn't play nobody. It's the bubble. The Lakers won in the bubble. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. But we already know what I think about the NFL. So having said that, this is the year, Smitty, that your guy, I have a player on the team that played with me and Allen at Garden City. I also close with Patrick Queen, who we've had on here 3-4 times. I have no ill will versus Lamar Jackson. I know he's a great fucking kid. Eric Weddle played with him. We know certain things. I know the fucking dude who recruited him out of his house. Having said that, this is his year, Smitty, and he has to win it, in my opinion, because this is the year of the Peyton Mannings and Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre's and all the guys who took some years to win. This is that year time frame that he needs to do it in. So if he doesn't get it done this year, I just want to know from you, Smitty, will you be disappointed?
I love how, first of all, before I even answer that question, I love how you're setting the stage. Because in the event that the Ravens and Lamar, if they lose, you have now set the stage to make it a bigger thing than what it would be. Because now what you're doing is you're basically saying he should win. Like this is the year that he just should win. So if he doesn't win, it's like not only did you lose, you lost when you had everything and the league was shitty and the playoffs was horrible. Joe Burrow wasn't in the playoffs, although you're 3-1 against Joe Burrow. He wasn't in the playoff. Aaron Rodgers, who's in year 27, 28, 30, old as hell, he wasn't in there. But you're setting the stage to where you're trying to make his fall even longer, even
but
deeper.
Joe Burrow's 3-1 versus the guy that he's about to play, though.
Exactly.
So how do we know that guy would have been in the game? How do we even know who he's playing if Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers and guys like that are in the playoffs? I'm just saying.
I don't know. All I know is he beat C.J. Stroud, who you said was better than him. And now he's going against Mahomes, who everybody thinks is the second coming of Tom Brady. So after Lamar and the Ravens beat the Chiefs this weekend, because that is my prediction, and he goes to the Super Bowl, I really don't have like room or time for any slander at that point. Because the whole thing that I've been hearing all year long, all last year.
So I'm supposed to bow down, right?
Yeah. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. What has he done? Big Smitty, what has he done? He doesn't fucking win. He wins regular season games. An MVP, fuck an MVP. Fuck the numbers. He can't he can throw, but he can't pass. He can pass, but he can't throw. He can throw, but he can't pass. He's rushing yard. Who cares about rushing yard? He's a quarterback.
Are those lies? Are those lies? Just answer my question. Are those lies?
He don't win. Well, now
lies?
Well, now he's 2-3.
Hold on, though. Are those lies?
Did I say that?
Hold on. I'm just saying you accusing some shit. Are those lies or facts?
I disagree with some of that.
But are those lies? Am I lying about what I said?
It's your opinion on some things.
It's not opinion, homie. It's fact. What do you mean? My opinion is professional, unlike a Twitter guru out there who has not a fucking clue on what a throwing mechanic is or what an accurate ball is or what platform means or where his third step should hit the ground and get the ball out means. I have a professional one. Again, I'll drop my resume again. But how are those opinions? Opinions come from the Walmart bagger who's never played or coached. It's a difference. Let's be honest. Come on. It's like a guy in here, Stilly the boss, comes in and says, Smitty, you're fucking teaching the wrong arm incorrect. What'd you do, dog? Oh, no, I don't know. I play basketball and work at Walmart. And you're supposed to have a full-on debate with this guy on how to teach the wrong arm because he thinks you're wrong. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be honest. I'm not lying about what I said about Lamar. I've had NFL quarterback coaches on the show. Are they lying too? Are they haters? Like, I just want to be clear. Are we all haters because we call out what's obvious and true?
No, I just think that he's just different. I don't think the quarterback is a robot, meaning I don't think that every quarterback should be exactly like this. And if you're not like this, then you're not a good quarterback. You can't throw, you can't pass, you're not good, you're not like, no. And I think we got to retweak our brains. All the quarterback gurus and coaches, of course I listen to them. Duh. I'm not a quarterback, but I played the game for a long time and I sacked and hit a lot of motherfuckers. So I do know quarterback play to an extent as well. I'm not saying to your level. I would never lie and disrespect and say that, but it's not like I'm a motherfucker who just didn't play the game. So I know the game as well. And all I'm saying is, as a defensive player, some of the hardest quarterbacks that we had to go against was the motherfucker that was dual threat, who can throw that motherfucker 60 yards deep, or he can run it 60 yards in end zone. I love going against a quarterback like a JB who was stay in that pocket, who will wheel and deal. Because I had as a defensive player, it was easier for me to cover that. It was easier for me to figure that out. It's hard to figure out a Lamar Jackson. I have no idea what he's going to do every single play. Every single play, I don't know what he's going to do. As a defensive player, defensive coordinator, that's hard as hell. And he's executed it at a very high level. And if they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that won the Super Bowl last year, and goes to the Super Bowl, I can't really spend time listening to people say that he's not a winner or he can't win or this style of play doesn't lead to winning.
You sound like this guy. With the Lamar Jackson profile picture, who's a complete dick writer. He said, when Lamar wins this Super Bowl, delete your account and never come back. So you sound exactly like him, Big Smitty. You sound exactly like him. We're talking about what have you done for me lately? And now, right now, as he's on the precipice of getting to his first Super Bowl, we got fanboys demanding that I delete my account. Well, why don't you fucking delete it for the last 7 years, motherfucker? Where you been for the last 7 years when Lamar was fucking asshole in the playoffs? Where have you been? I'm curious as to why we can't call out the truth and talk about, yes, Lamar is gifted athletically and a freak. Yes, he's a good kid. Yes, he's a freak. We get it. But he hasn't done shit. Why all of a sudden am I the fucking hater? Because he's on the cusp of going to what you all think is a Super Bowl for the first time. Why now is it all a problem, Big Smitty? Why now? I didn't hear you last year, Smitty. I didn't hear you in the crowd last year, homie. I haven't heard you motherfuckers for the last 7 years, dog.
I wasn't on the show last year. You didn't call me last year to come on the show. I would have been on this motherfucker saying the same shit.
You saw me on Twitter, though. I bet you that, homie. You saw me on Twitter talking my same shit. That's the difference, homeboy. I'm the same motherfucker every single motherfucking day. That's the problem with these soft pussies out here who want me to bow down. Where you motherfuckers been all 7 years, dog? Oh, every time Lamar loses, though, you same Raven fanboys are in here talking about don't pay the man. So miss me with your bullshit. You motherfuckers didn't want to pay him in your own fan base. Shut the fuck up. I got receipts. I got tweets from fanboys in the Ravens organization that said we shouldn't pay this motherfucker because he can't win a playoff game. But now all of a sudden he's your hero, huh? You fake soft pussy motherfuckers. That's just real talk, and you all know it is too.
I mean, a lot of people didn't want to pay Lamar. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the season, he was negotiating. He was basically sitting out, trying to like either y'all pay me or I'm gonna leave. No other teams had the opportunity to pay Lamar, and nobody wanted to get him. So that's why I'm not talking about Dre B. Nobody in the chat. I'm speaking on what I've been speaking on, and I've been a believer since before the fucking season started. So it's really more so me patting myself on the back for being right about this shit from the beginning. I didn't hop on the bandwagon in the middle of the season. I didn't hop on at the end. I told y'all this motherfucker was going to be in the Super Bowl this year. He finally got the help that he needed around him defensively as well as weapons on the offensive side. It's the best weapons he's ever had, and he still ain't got the best weapons across the league. When I think about the Niners, when I think about the Eagles, the Cowboys, all these other cats, He still ain't nowhere near on that level, but it's the best weapons that Lamar Jackson has had. And now that he has actual weapons around him, offensively, defensively, these are the results. And all I'm saying is I'm not surprised. So that's why I'm saying I'm just not surprised. For so long, people have just said that this style of play just doesn't lead to wins when it matters. This style of play doesn't. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you this. Last year, Jalen Hurts, dual threat quarterback, went to the Super Bowl. Did he lose? Yes, he lost. Went to the Super Bowl, though. Was a play away from winning. Very similar. He's not Lamar Jackson, but again, dual threat. Now this year, we got Lamar, one game away. They beat Mahomes this weekend, back in the Super Bowl. So I just feel like the narrative around these dual threat quarterbacks and not being able to win games when it matters, that shit is starting to shift and change. That's all I'm noticing right now. And I'm just saying that I think collectively as a unit, we have to put a little bit more respect on Lamar Jackson's name if he wins this game against Mahomes, and Andy Reid, the greatest coach who won Super Bowl last year. We have to put respect on him, on his name. I don't give a fuck if he goes out there and he runs for 150 yards and he only throws for 115, but he has no turnovers, 200 plus total yards, 2 touchdowns. He did what he was supposed to do to win that game. We may not like the way it looks visually because we're so used to, speaking for myself, a Peyton Manning who will drop back and just dissect you. Andrew Luck, dissect you. That's what I'm used to. Lamar Jackson isn't who I'm used to as a Colts fan. But I've learned to be like, you know what? He's great in his own right. Because none of these guys who I'm naming can do what he does. He can't do what they do. They can do what he do. But as long as what he does leads to winning, that's all that fucking matters. That's the name of the game, JB. Win. I don't give a hell how you do it.
But he hasn't won, though.
That's why I'm saying if he wins the weekend, fuck. Look
what I'm saying, though. This is what have you done for me lately? Y'all are jumping on the bandwagon since this weekend. How about the last 7 years? So I'm going to be automatically removed from my facts, which is the last 7 years. He's been below to mid in the playoffs. Okay. And now all of a sudden, that's all done with because we live in a what have you done for me lately business. You're proving it in front of me. What are you talking about? I'm trying to figure out that all these guys on Twitter and here on the chat are sitting here posting, got triggered when I said, all you motherfuckers didn't want to pay Lamar. They all got triggered. So you know it's true. Now, number one. Number two is the ones that are absolute nobodies, because everybody on Twitter that comes in here is a nobody. Let's just be real. You're a fucking nobody. And you can't get on the board with me. You can't discuss facts with me, and you never will be able to. But you come in here and say, I wanted Lamar. I didn't want Harbaugh. Nobody cares because nobody knows who you are and you don't have receipts. So shut the fuck up. You don't matter on this earth. You're a nobody. So having said that, Big Smitty,
on this earth,
like a fucking nobody. This motherfucker, I wanted Lamar. I didn't want Harbaugh. Well, guess what? Harbaugh has you in another AFC title game. You fucking idiot. So I'm trying to figure out why people don't realize when we talk about all these GOATs and all this shit, we never mention anything when a guy makes it to a Super Bowl with 0 O-line who got sacked more than anybody in NFL history in one season. And guess what we do? Instead of saying we have a Hall of Fame tight end in Travis Kelce or a top 5 defense in Kansas City, we just give Patrick Mahomes full anointing. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. When Burrow does it with 0 O-line, with fucking the most sacks of any NFL quarterback in history, who got sacked, 11 times in the Super Bowl? What did he get by the Rams?
Got tore up.
And is on the cusp of a drop ball to tying the game or winning it in the Super Bowl. Guess who the credit goes to? Jamar Chase. Higgins. It fucking blows my mind. This guy's 3-1 versus Mahomes, and guess what Burrow gets when he wins? Oh, he's got Jamar Chase, Higgins, he's got Boyd, he's got Fucking running back Mixon.
He do got hella weapons, but bro.
So Mahomes Tyreek Hill and
but fucking Burrow got every fucking stop now. But Burrow gets hold on, bro. Most people say
I'd rather have an O-line as a quarterback, Smitty. I'd rather have a fucking O-line with a tight end and a fucking Tyreek Hill than 3 good wideouts and no O-line. See, that's what people don't want to bring up and don't have a mention. He got killed that year, Smitty.
He did. You're right.
And he made it to a Super Bowl. And now guess what? Wonder why he's hurt so much.
But that's why we call him the number 2 quarterback. You don't think Burrow gets his flowers? Everyone says it's either Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, or Mahomes, Allen, Burrow.
It's not the flowers I'm discussing. I'm discussing the anointing of whose importance is the reason why they're winning. Mahomes gets the important factor on every case. And Blake Bortles, if you disagree, you're full of shit, and you need to go back to Independence, Kansas, and lay down in the fucking do a snow angel, motherfucker. The bottom line is, you cannot tell me that Mahomes doesn't get credit for every single thing that happens in Kansas City's success.
Yeah.
But if someone else does it, it's someone else. I've never heard the fact that Tyreek Hill caught those bubble screens and went 80. I never heard that Kelsey dominated and caught that corner route in the Super Bowl that ultimately won the game. Great throw by Mahomes, no question. But why is Mahomes the only guy that gets the credit?
But JB, I feel like that's what, for the most part, and I guess we disagree on that. I just feel like that is what we do with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks get all the praise, and they get
not all of them.
Typically, they get a lot of the blame. Now, I do agree with you with Mahomes. Mahomes is that he has an asterisk next to him because, when they do lose, we blame everybody else. Mahomes reminds me of LeBron in the sense that we find a way to where there's no way to really go at them. You know what I'm saying? You either praise them because they won, and if they lose, it's not his fault. So he can never be at fault. I do agree with you on that. I think Mahomes falls in that category. But as far as focusing on the praise side, for the most part, and I'm not saying this all quarterbacks, but for the most part, quarterbacks are the ones who get the credit when teams win. That's why the MVP has turned into a quarterback award, regardless of who's been balling out. Tyreek can go for 1,800 receiving yards or whatever the case may be. The quarterback's going to win the MVP because that's just the way they're the leader of the team. That's what it is. Everything goes through the quarterback. So we're going to give them the praise. So I think that's a normal thing. But yeah, I do think that Chiefs Kingdom, they act like Mahomes shit don't stink. He can do no wrong. It don't matter what the situation is. He's just great, and that's what it is. Nothing is his fault. It's either Andy Reid's fault, it's the receiver's fault, it's the referee's fault. I don't know if I've ever seen an actual a Chiefs Kingdom fan go out there and be like, you know what? Yeah, Mahomes lost that game. I've never seen that. So I do agree with you on that end. I guess bringing it back full circle before we move on. I just think the biggest narrative around Lamar is that he doesn't win when it matters. So now he's in the AFC Championship game for the first time. So I think that alone, okay, you're one of the last 4 teams. Boom. That's already an achievement. He's already done more than he's ever done before right now. So then if they beat the Chiefs, no matter how they do it, if they beat the Chiefs and you're in a Super Bowl, it's come on, the whole you can't win when it matters. He's now done exactly what Joe Burrow has done. Win or lose Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. Win or lose, you are now in the Joe Burrow category. So the same way that we praise Joe Burrow and say he's second best quarterback behind Mahomes and this, that, and the third, we got to start putting that same level of respect on Lamar Jackson. And then if he wins, oh, shit. That's a whole, I don't know. Now we're having a whole other conversation because now he's going to be a 2-time regular season MVP, Super Bowl champion, and likely a Super Bowl MVP because we know 9 times out of 10 the quarterbacks get that too. So if that happens, that's he's in rare air. He's in Hall of Fame conversation right now if that happens. So that's all it is. I'm just saying. See, keeping it is. I know. But if that happens, that's what it is.
No, I'm not even gonna get triggered on it.
2 MVPs, a Super Bowl, 2 MVPs.
We're always gonna disagree because I know how to break down a quarterback. I watched the film. I'm always gonna disagree with what greatness is. Greatness used to be given to greatness. They got awards for being great. Now we give awards out for being popular or mid. So we're always going to disagree. No reason to even argue about it. I've argued enough. I'm tired.
Well, Tank coming on soon, so we better get some water, go take a piss or something, and get your mind right, because we coming right back with some more smoke. So
I just wish all these quarterbacks that took 7 years and then
Peyton Manning took 9 years. Are you aware of that? Drew Brees. That's a Mount Rushmore quarterback that we're talking about. Drew Brees took like 8-9 years. So, bro, quarterbacks don't just. Tom Brady is another fucking level. So let's stop comparing people.
None of those quarterbacks had what Baltimore's had.
These quarterbacks don't win every fucking year. You can't do that.
If any of those quarterbacks had Baltimore's defense over the last 7 years, they would have 5 fucking Super Bowls.
If it was a fifth, we all be drunk. I'm a Colts fan. I know good and damn well we should have more than one Super Bowl in Indy. We had the roster to do it.
We got hopefully some balance to this show.
It's pitch black. What you over there doing? You over there? Steve over there meditating. He over there meditating.
What you got a little lighter. Yeah,
it's
got a little lighter.
So,
Steve, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna tap out and I want to just fall out right now.
Hey, first time ever I made JB tap on the show. No one has ever made JB tap out. You already said it. You can't rebut it.
Steve, I've dominated the day. I've already dominated. I don't know if there's anything needed from me anymore. I've dominated the entire conversation. And Steve, let me just ask you, we're talking about this whole thing. We're entering year 7 for Lamar. I guess in the new soft society victim roles that we all play now, I have to be a yes man and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But I'm not ever going to do that. Either is the Crouching Tiger. I'm trying to figure out why everyone refuses to mention the fact that Andy Reid is the reason why this middle-of-the-road talent team is back in a 6th AFC title game, and why ESPN is yet to mention the man's name one time, except for when his fucking mustache was frozen. Everything else has been Patrick Mahomes, this, that, and the other. Why is Andy Reid's name just so undervalued?
Well, to be blunt, a lot of it has to do with the fact he's probably an older white guy. Let's just put it out there. Here's an issue that I have. Andy Reid's done a great job of kind of reinventing the wheel on the fly. They're more of a Isaiah Pacheco has become vital. He's no longer just like this complimentary piece. He's a guy that's going to go out there. He sets the table in the run game, keeps them ahead of the chains. And then to the credit of Patrick Mahomes, I think he's done a good job of being a game manager. He plays within whatever they're doing right now. But I think that there are some pundits that absolutely play the race game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I'm listening to all this stuff about Josh Allen, and they love to pick on Josh Allen. And these very same guys, if Josh Allen was black, their number one mantra would be, look at what Josh Allen's doing statistically every year. We must protect him. There's a loss of credibility there. There really is. And it's hard not to notice.
And I'm a racist when I talk about Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, all these guys no one mentions me talking shit about those guys. They only go to Lamar and Mahomes. It's like, I'm an equal opportunist asshole. You can ask my 200 a season black players. How about that? How about you ask all my black players in the chat right now?
Well, can we be honest about this? I'm going to make a comment, and this is going to get me into some trouble, and certain people are going to hate me. Good. The most militant, angry people are the people that do nothing for their people and hate people like you, JB. That is the
ones that actually help.
Right.
All my people.
All you've ever done is
my people have been inner city youth forever, Big Smitty and Steve, and that's the crazy part about it.
If all you've ever done is complain on social media, hashtag, do phrases, wear a T-shirt, and then get on chat rooms and call everyone racist, but you've never actually touched or developed one life from that community, you need to look at yourself and ask, do I need to reevaluate my whole life? You probably do. It's a rhetorical question, but there's always a pattern here. You ask them, what choices have you made in life? Like, how far did you get in your education? How disciplined were you? Do you have kids out of wedlock? And all of a sudden, it starts to unravel.
Here's the thing. It's to the point of the fanboy. We wanted Andy Reid out of Kansas City when his son had a DUI. Don't make a mistake about it. And now the kicker for the Bills, a white kid, is getting death threats from their own fan base, the mafia. Because, again, we live in a society where when the truth happens and it's told in your face like a missed kick in a 60-mile-an-hour fucking wind, that now you're getting death threats and I need to delete my social media. Again, we can't handle any type of adversity anymore because social media is our get-out-of-jail-free card. It is allowed to tweet it and I can run away. And I'm just saying, it's crazy now when the truth comes out and it actually hurts. And now I'm the racist, or Smitty is this, or I'm that. It is what it is.
There's no word that people know real. Devalued like racist. When people call me racist, I say, no, you are. Then what?
I know.
No, I'm being serious. I just think it is. Thomas Sowell once said it. This is the philosophy of grievance. And this is what the equity program is. It's about taking what you have earned and making it mine. It is lowering everyone's standards. And that's what a lot of these people engage in. And a lot of media members are afraid to push back because their own companies, they engage in that. And I made a decision a couple of years ago. I was like, nah, we're not doing this. We're not. At least I'm not. I have options. But, as it relates to like Andy Reid, look, I think in this era of player empowerment, to give any coach too much credit, I think would actually get you into some hot water. I think people would say, well, what about the players? Well, what about the players? They don't coach themselves. They really don't. I just, as it relates to Josh Allen, look, Josh plays a really fun, entertaining game, but it's also very reckless. I don't think I don't think to me he has enough of a football IQ. Those last two plays on that last drive, I thought were an indictment of his football intelligence. One of those throws had to go underneath, so you shorten up that field goal, and you had to keep running that clock. Because even if you scored right then and there on that second down throw, you left Patrick Mahomes $150 and a timeout. That's not smart football.
Yeah. It's tough for me when it comes to Josh Allen because I agree with you. What you just said, those are bad, probably some bad decisions on those throws. But at the same time, I thought Josh Allen played a hell of a game. So it's like,
Smitty, not to cut you off, do you disagree with the fact that this guy's already dropped 3 balls? He had 3 catches. He wasn't getting separation, wasn't getting open. Why would I throw to him?
You're talking about Diggs, right?
I'm talking about Josh Allen. Like, are you mad at Josh? I'm not mad at Josh Allen for not throwing to him because he dropped 3 balls that game already and wasn't getting any separation in the ball game. He wasn't a factor.
I'm not as mad about that play, really more so because I think it was a touchdown opportunity. Right there, it was a window. I think Josh Allen got bumped into a little bit by the defensive end pass rush, which made the pass go short. But if that doesn't happen, I think it is a touchdown. The guy was open.
He threw that same route concept against Kansas City in Kansas City to win the game.
Exactly. So, like, for me, I get what Steve Kim is saying about leaving too much time on the clock. I hear you, but I don't think you ever just miss the opportunity of getting a touchdown because it's not a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I could throw underneath, but then maybe they still stop me and now we just get a field goal. We're tied up versus I could have got a touchdown and we take the lead. You know what I'm saying? So I always lean on the side of let's score. If we can score. You know what I mean? Let defense figure out the other stuff. Let's score.
Steve, I got to get to brass tacks, though, regarding this particular game in Buffalo. Listen, we know this guy had 50-plus touchdowns. We don't really talk about Josh this year as far as what he did for that particular team. I love what Joe Brady did later, the last 8 weeks of the season, getting Cook involved in the run game, getting a little bit of pressure taken off of Josh Allen's shoulders. But let's just be honest and call a square and a circle a circle. McDermott has been outclassed and outcoached by Andy Reid 3 years in a row when it matters most. Even though he coached with Andy Reid in Philly for 7 years, he couldn't figure out what the old man did to him. and he makes up these continuing horrible decisions down the stretch. The Damar Hamlin fake punt thing, I don't care if Kansas City had 6 players out there. I wouldn't have given it to him. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Luckily, the fumble went out the back of the end zone, and that game's over earlier than it was. But are we firing him today? Like, I got to ask you, Belichick's out there. Carroll's out there. Vrabel's out there. There's guys we've never seen out there available. I would be very, very hard pressed to not fire McDermott today, just for the simple fact that roster is a mess. Steve, you got a defensive end you paid $5 million to for basically each tackle he performed. He was never played. You have a Diggs who I believe is washed and just a horrible prima donna. And I believe you have a guy that's $57 million over the cap next year that's going to cost a big cap hit in Josh Allen, that you have no weapons around him, and you ain't going to be able to get no weapons because of what's going on in the roster. And their defense is ailing, very hurt. They're getting old. There's a problem in Buffalo, Houston, and I think you need to go make a move. And my big question saying all that shit, Steve, do you go after Bill Belichick? I do.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of when Tony Dungy had a really good run in Tampa. They kept running into Philadelphia. The offense kept bogging down. I think it was like 2-3 straight years they couldn't get out of Philly. And they had to bring in John Gruden, kind of fix that offense and give them a different identity. I get the sense this is another version of it. They've given McDermott a shot. I still can't get over how he didn't squib the ball 3 years ago or a couple years ago. And with that said, when you have a franchise quarterback, you had a talented roster at a certain point. Defensively, to be fair, they were banged up. If I'm Buffalo, I do make a change. I'm not doing this again. To lose a home playoff game to maybe the worst Chief team out of all of these in the last 6 years, that's an indictment. You got to win that game. I think that's the last straw for McDermott. Yes.
I know, Smitty, we talked about it yesterday, but it's Tuesday. Josh Allen's already coming out. The window's still open, I believe, and blah, blah, blah. This has to be more of a cringe take from him to ownership to say, no, it's not. Like, we know what our roster is. It's decaying right in front of our very eyes. I have to think you make a move there. I don't know if they will, but there's never been this many coaches available. So I don't know. I think
it's tough, because like on one end, I'm with you guys. It's like, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. But on the flip side, I sometimes feel like we fire coaches too soon and too quick. And we just live in this, this microwave society where you have to do everything right now, and you have a 2-year window, and we're talking about firing Mike McCarthy, and I think I was on the side of saying, yeah, you might have to let him go or that go. We're talking about firing, Sirianni. It's like guys who have had high levels of success since they lost, we're all just ready to move on. It's like, I don't know if that's the answer.
Hey, I'm glad you said it. I'm with you. I'm glad a young person, Steve, a brand new 30-year-old, by the way, is Smitty.
Wisdom.
I'm glad you said it. I'm the one that says it all the time. But the fact of the matter is, this guy McDermott is not in year 3. This guy's been here now, and he's kind of continued to show who he is. And we're trying to get rid of a McCarthy and all these other guys, and I think he's right there. Sirianni could be fired a year after a Super Bowl appearance. Then I think McDermott is ready to go after, 7 years or whatever he is there. I don't know. But transitioning, Steve, to college. Arizona, a coach you liked a lot, Jed Fish, NFL Patriot, former NFL guy, a lot of play calling experience. Come to find out, a good friend of mine, a long-time, lifelong friend, was his defensive coordinator last year, a Polynesian. Reason for getting a lot of the Polys there. He's left to go back with one of his best friends, Sark, in Texas. He mentioned to me there's some things going on there. I think we harshly judge coaches when they do leave. Smitty has just kind of alluded to. But this case, he leaves from Arizona to what once was a rival Pac-12 school in Washington. No longer that reason. It's a Big 10 versus Big 12 issue now. But the truth came out yesterday, which nobody really knows. And Arizona fired their athletic director after 7 years for misappropriation of funds and different things. My boy left before Jed left for Washington to go back to Texas. Now, you probably leave Texas to go to Texas from Arizona anyway, even if Jed was staying. But he left for one simple reason, and there was a lot of issues going on financially there. And I hear that Jed wasn't getting his money, even though it was contractually obligated on a signed document. So he said, screw you, I'm leaving. And he goes to Washington. Is there a reason why you think Arizona isn't going to just absolutely crumble here in the next 2 years? They've lost their players. They had a good roster. You and I discussed it all the time, how good their quarterback and wide receivers are. And then Jed leaves because of a horrible implosion financially with administration.
Well, T-Mac and Fertitta, I think, have stated they're going to stay for now. I mean, I know these things are fluid. The financial deficits in the Arizona athletic department, I've read about them. They are several $100 million in the hole. I don't know what's going on there. It ain't good. And if he's not getting his money, he ain't getting his money. But it's interesting because as of right now, if you look at the respective rosters, Arizona still might be better than Washington because Washington's pretty gutted. I mean, they've had guys transfer, graduate, eligibility ran out. But it's really a shame that Arizona had the number one pick up and leave from a conference that they've been in for a very long time. They had all the momentum in the world. They had a great team coming back, and now basically it's not the same. And Jed Fish will do a great job at Washington eventually. He's got to get a quarterback. He'll surround himself with athletes. I know his running back Coleman is following him there from Tucson up to Seattle. But, yeah, Jason, those financial issues in the AU athletic department are not a surprise. I've actually read some reports on it. I don't know how they got so far deep into the hole, but they are in the hole.
Now, back to the NFL, to Smitty's last point about getting rid of coaches early and all this stuff. The Titans are making a move, and I'm going to give you some insight on who they're hiring here. Callahan's son, that's how I know him. I've known him since he was a little kid. Brian Callahan is going to be the new head coach for the Tennessee Titans. I want you to make this make sense for me. You get rid of a guy, a figurehead like Vrabel, who I understand over his last 40 games had a very, very below average record. But having said that, this is a guy. Let me get your take first on Vrabel to this.
I mean, Vrabel being a coordinator? Nah, I don't. That seems like a backwards move to me. If he waits a year or two, they'll probably have a job that he wants and likes. And that's it. I don't look at Vrabel as an X and O guy. I look at him as a guy that develops a certain type of physicality, a certain mentality, an attitude. You're going to be tough.
A manager.
Yeah, so I don't get that move. I wouldn't do it.
I think you need managers in the NFL. I don't think you need play callers. You need managers that could get guys to run through a wall for you. That's what I ultimately think, that the offense and defense loves equally. I don't know if we get that in the NFL as much as we used to. I think Antonio Pierce will have that in Vegas. I think both sides of the ball will run through a wall for Antonio Pierce. I think Pete Carroll used to have it. I don't know if he has it anymore. That's probably why they said, let's make a move. Belichick the same way. I probably think it's time to make a move. Vrabel, I can see both sides of the ball running through the wall for the guy. Here's the issue I have with this hire, Callahan. Known him since he was a kid. Comes from a great lineage of one of the best offensive line coaches ever. Here's the thing I have to say. This guy doesn't call plays. Sorry to break the cat out the hat on everybody in the bag, but he doesn't call the plays in Cincinnati. He never has. The calls are made and devised by the head coach there. I know for a fact. This is another titled offensive coordinator that's got a job that will probably fail miserably. And We've seen the Mike McDaniel get a job from being titled. He didn't call plays in Frisco. We saw the guy in Minnesota who didn't call plays in LA underneath McVay. These guys all get jobs because they're titled as a coordinator. I'm missing something in this hire, Steve. Does Tennessee have a Joe Burrow sitting around that I don't know about? I'm trying to figure out, why would you hire a guy to come in there and be an offensive guy when you have no quarterback?
Well,
if you
they might like Levis more than you.
So be it.
Oh, look, they might. I don't know. I'm not a Tennessee. I don't give a shit about Tennessee either way. But they might like Will Levis. Look, at the end of the day, whoever you hire, you hire. You're probably going to fire eventually. They might like Will Levis. Look, they showed some signs with Levis. But is he this quarterback guru? I don't know. He's just another guy to me. I wouldn't have fired Vrabel. I think sometimes you're better off writing it out with a guy and letting him figure it out. Because you're going to move on from Derrick Henry. So the identity of the whole offense and that side of the ball is going to change. But Vrabel is a leader of men. He seems to be very respected within NFL circles. When you let go Vrabel, there is a downside to that. You might be making a change, but you are not guaranteeing that you are upgrading that spot. So I just found that to be an interesting move. But again, maybe they like Levis more than any of us.
Yeah, man. And I just think the league is trying to steer young. I think that's the overall thing. We've seen some success with obviously Sean McVay, Shanahan, who's the Packers head coach? I'm drawing a blank.
Packers LaFleur.
Packers LaFleur. Thank you. So there's a lot of these young cats who are supposed to be offensive minds. We're hearing rumors that after this season ends for the Lions, whether that's the Super Bowl or if they lose this weekend, Ben Johnson will get an opportunity. So I just think that's just the trend right now because we've seen that work at a high level, and they're probably just trying to roll the dice with this young cat Callahan and see if he can bring on that same success. So we'll see.
Hey, Steve, before you get out of here today, let me ask you, I think that this NFL carousel of coaching openings, the lack of hires, usually these jobs are filled by now this late in the or this early in the season for 25 or 24 season, but the end of the Super Bowl run 23, most of these jobs are usually filled. They're never this open this late. And I truly believe it's the Belichick effect that he's sitting out here weighing these options. And I think Matt thinks as well. I think E-Dub thinks as well. If where Belichick goes, the rest fills in. And I think that is what's being held back right now. Do you think that's the truth? And do you like Belichick to what a lot of people think he's already accepted the Atlanta Falcons job? I don't see them having a quarterback. The rumor is he's bringing Kirk Cousins with him to Atlanta with Bijan Robinson, who we know he'll use, and he'll shore up that defense, which I think you and I both agree to. Do you like the hire? I'm not sure if I like that, and I don't know if this is the reason why Harbaugh hasn't accepted a job in the Chargers, why Vrabel hasn't been named the coach in Seattle, why Dan Quinn hasn't got a job if he is going to get one, why my boy for the Rams, the D coordinator, hasn't been the Carolina head coach yet, or are they waiting for Ben Johnson to finish his playoff run, and things like that. I think it all goes back to Bill Belichick. Do you?
Yeah, it might. Look, a guy like Ben Johnson, you're going to wait it out for him. He's a very bright offensive mind, the way he's kind of retooled.
But no head coaching experience.
Golf. Right, you're right, but neither did DeMeco Ryans. So you can go both ways on that. And Antonio Pierce earned that job. And I think if he can get a good offensive coordinator and a quarterback, I think Las Vegas, I think they're on the upswing. I want to see what they do in the draft. As it relates to Belichick, God, here's the thing. Is he absolutely insisting on drafting the players? Because he hasn't been very good at that offensively. He really hasn't. I don't know if he's that guy anymore. If you look at his drafts, the last 7-8 years on that side of the ball, he ain't exactly Brad Holmes.
Now let me go back. Let me backtrack just a little for you on that take. So a good friend of mine, one of my better friends in the world, is there, O-line coach. I won't say verbatim what he said, but I do know that Belichick tried to trade Mac Jones. He tried to get Flacco in there as a save for the rest of this year. With that defense, could have been something, maybe 3 or 4 more wins. Who knows? But having said that, do you give him any credit for trying to do things and being shot down by Kraft that we don't know about?
Well, again, I think Kraft's saying, oh, hold on, buddy. You're the one who wanted Brady gone. Okay? You're the one who drafted Mac Jones. All those really slow, unproductive, non-separation creating wide receivers, that's your guy. I'm sorry. So, I mean, you don't get credit for trying to fix a mistake that you kind of made. So, I'm a big fan of Belichick, but if you look, I'm just saying, you look at the team that has been put together on one side of the ball, it is on Bill.
But we do miss in this league. Greats, Hall of Fame guys have missed and had to rectify the miss by trying to
for a whole decade.
I think he's tried to correct misses, just like Pete Carroll did.
Yeah, I guess everyone has an off decade, but there comes a point where I'm taking the keys away from Grandpa. I mean, if you're running into everyone at the farmer's market and you roll over three people like, Grandpa, you're taking an Uber, you son of a bitch. Give me the keys. Come on.
Even Brady's last year or two with the Patriots, he didn't have help. It was like, what the hell is
everyone was running a 3-hook route, just like a 3-yard hook, and I'm like, hey guys, nobody can stretch the field here.
Yeah, it's been a while. Nah, and he missed. I mean, a quote came out was it like a couple weeks ago from Kraft or inside his camp saying that about the whole Brady leaving situation, that basically Belichick thought Brady was washed. He thought he was done, and then he goes and wins a Super Bowl. So I don't know. I'm not taking nothing away from Belichick.
I think that there is an underlying tension, or there was, based on what I've read in that book from Seth Wickersham, that if it was up to Kraft, who, by the way, owned the team, he should have said to Bill, look, I'll let you make every other decision, but if Brady wears another uniform, I'm going to fire you. So what are we doing here? Is Brady going to be another player and you're gone? Or is he going to be your quarterback and he's going to retire? Because I look at Kraft as a guy who really cared about that. And I think once you have a quarterback, you got to kind of ride with that quarterback. Look, I think the Buccaneers should stick with Baker and vice versa. I think it's a good situation for both sides as long as Mike Evans is re-signed. And find a place where you fit in. Stop being a vagabond. God. And I think that if you look at Belichick, he is so stuck on his ways, and it's worked. But it hasn't really worked offensively in terms of retooling that side of the ball for about 7-8 years. Name me a good wide receiver he's drafted outside of Edelman. Seriously, they've been one bust after another.
He had Branch in them that helped them.
Huh?
He had Branch and those guys that helped him win.
That's 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
I know. I'm just saying. But that's when I
give him credit for Stanley Morgan. I mean,
yeah.
Irving Fryer.
Hey, Steve, real quick. Let me ask you something. Does Purdy need Debo to win?
Yeah.
In your opinion, or the other way around?
I think to me, he's the most vital guy in that offense. He's the queen on the chessboard. The one thing with Detroit, I don't like their secondary. But if I'm Aaron Glenn, I make it a point. I am not going to allow myself to be in 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3 all game. I'm loading up that box, and I'm making sure Brock Purdy has to hit some third down throws. Now, with that said, if the weather is what it is, I think Brock's going to have a better game. He's not a mutter, as they say. That weather affected him. Hands are relatively small. Ball was sputtering all over the place. But if Debo does not play or is ineffective, that does help Detroit significantly.
We got a guy that just entered the chat here that is going to give us some Debo news, Steve. Can you hang on, Steve, with us for 5 minutes and talk?
Sure.
All right. Doc.
Yo.
Dr. Jesse Morris, pound the like. Doc, Debo, is he going this weekend?
Maybe.
Doc's been in a surge or had a patient for the last all morning long, so he had to come in when he could. What is his issue, Debo? Is it a clavicle or?
They initially said that it was a repeat of the same injury from earlier this year, which was a fracture. But they then corrected themselves, saying x-rays were negative, and he's questionable for the game, which means that it's likely an AC sprain, probably closer to a grade 1 than a grade 2. I'm a little surprised they shut him down so quickly and didn't even allow him to potentially even come back. He didn't look like he was super happy about it, if you saw the photos of him coming out of the x-ray room. They probably could have used him. Purdy struggled a decent amount, in my opinion, weather related, but I think Debo plays a significant role in that offense that Kittle and Ayuk and Jennings and them can't. They don't make that up. If he does play, I think he's going to be pretty limited, and he's going to be pretty high re-injury risk. But it doesn't sound bad to the point where he won't be able to play at all. I don't think. I think they're going to be pretty aggressive here. It's going to be not quite as bad as Jamar Chase's from a couple weeks ago, but a little bit more than something that's like, oh, it's not a big deal.
What major? This is the Final Four. We're here to go to the Super Bowl. Like, where do you see? Who's really hurting? I got to ask about Detroit's tight end Laporta. Is he okay? Is he?
He's close to 100%. He's you saw him last week. Got a ton of catches. I tweeted something before the game, basically saying I'm not overly worried about him. He basically had what Kelsey had at the beginning of the year. Kelsey's was just a timing thing. He couldn't kind of get the knee to calm down fast enough because it was an early week. And Laporta has 8 years on him, 10 years on him, whatever it is. But Laporta is not 100%, but he's as close as you're going to be. I'm not overly worried about his re-injury risk. McCaffrey looked fine with his calf. I'm not overly worried about him. There's a couple. The Thuney for the Chiefs. There's some concerns there. He had a pec strain. Is this All-Pro center? So there's a concern he might not be able to go. If he does go, he's not going to be very effective. I know his backup is pretty good, but I don't think he's an All-Pro. And then I've had some Chiefs fans asking about one of their defenders that's been out for like a month or 6 weeks that had a crazy ankle injury that I'm looking into. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back just based on how bad it was. I think the majority. Go ahead.
Is that Tony?
No, Tony's pretty much useless at this point. But
hey, Doc, since you're right there in this area in Steve Kim's wheelhouse, and I got to ask you an important question because University of Miami, Steve's near and dear to his heart there all the time. Had a guy they just gifted a 9th year for, a tight end. Now, I got to ask you from a medical standpoint, does this 9th year guy continue to put his future life at risk for just being able to walk out the house in 10 years? Like, is this guy just wasting his time and wasting all the Miami Hurricanes fans' time and not taking a high school kid when they could have, and they took this guy for a 9th year? Where are you at with that as far as future health risks? Seriously question, but I'm joking with Steve too.
I mean, for me, obviously, if he was playing a large amount, he wouldn't have been granted all these excessive years. So I think his risk is relatively low. Obviously, I don't know his specific injury history, so I can't speak to that. But the only thing I really worry about is concussions. But even then, I don't know how many he's had and how that.
Dave, is this guy playing seriously?
Cam McCormick is basically our blocking tight end. Look, one of the reasons why Miami asked him back, it's not like we have Kellen Winslow, Jeremy Shockey, and Bubba Franks on that roster. He is needed. He's kind of an inline blocker, probably the most physical guy that we have. And given the fact he's almost 30, he should be the most physical guy.
Grown man strength.
He got that old man, so not grown man, old man. And
He's Smitty's age.
And so last year, you look at Miami's tight end room, Jaleel Skinner was a pass-catching tight end that couldn't catch, so that's an issue. Riley Williams was a true freshman who I think the speed of the game, you could tell he was not ready to play. Will Mallory had just graduated. He's on the Colts now. So the depth chart kind of necessitated bringing him back. Now, the problem is, fundamentally, he gives you nothing in the pass game. He has no real twitch, not a really fast burst athlete, but he's stout. He can block a little bit. I'm with Coach. I think after your 6th year, unless you're one of those Mormon missionaries that comes back with 3 kids, you should not be playing college football in your mid-20s. That's just my view of it. Good luck to the young man. And they do have a tight end coming in from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, Elijah Lofton, who I believe is going to be a real player. And my fear is is that McCormick is going to hinder the development of a young man like Elijah Lofton.
Doc, before you get out of here, thank you for coming in late. I know you had patience all morning. I got to ask you in the fantasy side of things, if Mark Andrews goes for the Ravens, and I don't know, I haven't even asked you if he is going or not, but if he does, is he a guy you take?
Well, all right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just jumping in. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all the fantasy leagues are over, right?
Well, you could still play DFS. You could still play
DFS.
betting.
Oh,
Yeah, you could still. You have some Survivor League. Some weird stuff. I'm in one league that you basically draft before all the playoffs start, and then you hold. You that's it. So you basically have to pick an elite roster that is also going to make it, which is very difficult to do. So that you have that little bit of relevance. I was a little surprised he didn't go last week. I know his tissue wasn't ready, and I guess they probably just weren't really worried about him per se anyway, the Texans. But I think there's a decent chance he plays in this game. He will be 75, 80%. He had a pretty significant leg fracture and high ankle sprain. So he's not going to be 100%. He's not going to have the mobility. Isaiah Likely has done good, but if you look at their last week's roster on base in terms of receptions, I don't think anybody had more than 50 yards. It was sad. OBJ had what, 20, 30? I know.
Doc, Lamar's the greatest passing quarterback of all time.
No. He's a great quarterback, great player.
God, Coach
MVP.
With the straw man. Come on, Coach. Jeez.
Yeah. And that's why they call you a hater right there.
You didn't say it. I had to say it.
He's a fantastic player, no question. I mean, he's a game changer, no question. But for me, as a fan that wants to watch passing, it leaves more to be desired. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But in terms of excitement, there's no question.
Doc, I think Likely, the one thing he gives you is more twitch, though. He's a big play guy. He has that ability to stretch the defense, and once he gets the ball in his hands, he makes things happen. I don't think it's been that much of a drop-off from Andrews, to be fair.
No, and he's good. I mean, the kid came out of Coastal Carolina. He's from my area, Massachusetts, and he was kind of a nobody. And he came out, he looked good. I mean, he's had some monster games. Bateman didn't do a whole lot this week. Zay didn't do a whole lot. OBJ didn't do a whole lot. So it's you don't even know who he's going to throw to. Al Galore scored the touchdown. So it's it doesn't, they had Dalvin running. So it's you don't even know who's getting the ball. You just know collectively they're going to be effective. But for a fantasy perspective, it's a nightmare. It's Lamar and nothing. Everyone else is a hope and a prayer. It's like the Packers. You have no idea who they're targeting.
He won me some. I took Lamar. He got me 42 draft fantasy points. But
You're welcome.
The difference between me, Smitty, and the fantasy guys, I actually watched the film, and I didn't say Lamar's the greatest fucking thing ever afterwards.
We didn't say he's the greatest ever either. We didn't say he's the MVP and he's a winner in the AFC Championship. He's about to go to the Super Bowl. That's all we've ever said.
Hey, Doc, for the Chiefs, he's a big time old lineman for them. I think he had a pec tear or strain. Is he done?
No. Well, I tweeted about this yesterday. So best case scenario is what happened. Pec, very important for engaging. The pec actually attaches over here, so you can't, and that's how you guys usually do it. Is usually they block someone, and then the arm gets pulled, and then the tissue gets torn or pulled. Usually, ideally, you give him another week, but I don't know if they have that luxury. He might be able to play. He's at high risk for re-injuring it, but if the season's over if you lose anyway, but there's a chance he plays and just kind of has to stay close and engaged. If the more arms go out, the more issues, more risk he's going to have. So he's got to be kind of close. So maybe they only put him in on situations or whatnot. But I would move mountains for him, getting him healing, putting him in hyperbaric chambers, high level PT. Certain IVs, I would inject it if they're willing to do that. You have a lot of different things that they could do to move mountains, and the staff's there is really good, so I have no concerns.
Hey, Doc, before you get out of here and we take a break, I thank you coming on, and Steve, I got to ask you, Higbee, Will he be ready for the beginning of next season?
Probably not. Think more Zach Ertz, who kind of funnily just was added to the Lions. No, that was just another unfortunate injury. ACL, MCL. Late season, best case scenario, he's ready week 4, something like that. Not a spring chicken. Davis Allen, I think that's who it is there as his backup. So he'll be close, but he'll take a little time to get some rust off. But in the long run, most tight ends do good. It's the running backs that struggled the first year. Breece Hall was a massive exception this year, but in general, I think he'll be okay. He just may take a little bit longer than when the season permits.
Look at JB still trying to keep the Rams in the conversation.
Yeah, I need to be a fantasy keyboard warrior like everybody else. Mark, I appreciate you jumping on here, man, and we'll see you next week. Get ready for the Super Bowl breakdown. Hopefully nobody's injured too much that's going to be affecting this game. Who do you got? Who do you got playing in the Super Bowl before you leave?
Well, everyone I picked last week pretty much sucked, so it's the opposite of what I wanted to happen. I think realistically we're going to see what the colors of the logo have lined up. I think we're going to see.
Bring that up for Steve.
You Steve, you know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
They seem to be foreshadowing the. I'm
The
just telling you,
3
Doctor,
years.
next year that logo better just be black and white like a zebra.
Yes. And then we're going to all say the Raiders are going.
Possible.
Right, the Raiders are going to be in there
Raiders.
with AP. Raiders.
Just do it white. Just do it white.
Just do an
or something
opaque.
neutral.
Just do an opaque with like little dots, like.
So you're going Ravens, Niners, huh?
I mean, first off, before I finish with that, hats off to an incredible Chiefs-Bills game. That game was legit. They just released the numbers. 50 million people, 56 million at its peak. That's a lot of people. I know your boy Mahomes. He moved mountains again. He wasn't amazing, but they got the job done.
He did.
Alan
Andy
made some
Reid didn't do
interesting
anything.
questions. Alan made some very interesting questions. I'm so curious at why Stephon Diggs was MIA for most of the game.
Because he's a prima donna fuckboy, as you would say in Florida.
It's unfortunate. I don't know how that's going to play out, but he just disappeared when Brady took over. But either way, the Ravens just look so dominant that it's just like, if this was in Detroit and they don't have Debo, then maybe I would say they have a chance. But I think they will have Debo, and I think the 49ers end up winning. I think Purdy bounces back, and then we see what the script was written.
The rematch.
Hey, Doc, man, much love. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's raining out here. San Diego's flooded. We got all kind of drama. It's probably sunny there, so enjoy.
It's 75 and sunny.
You might have some PRP injections. I'll see you later.
All right.
Doc.
Take care, guys.
Doc. Peace.
Hey, Steve, I got to ask you before you leave. Baker Mayfield, do you pay him to stay in Tampa?
I pay him properly. Look, Baker has been on a lot of teams the last 2 years. You got to settle in and hang your hat somewhere and grow with the franchise and be that guy. I thought he played a really good game outside of a throw or two on Sunday, had a good, strong year. And if I'm Baker's management, I said this to Whitlock yesterday, I asked the Buccaneers, what's going on with Mike Evans? If you bring back 13, we're interested. They got something good going there. It's a good franchise. Todd Bowles is a good guy to play for. It's a good football man. If you're Baker Mayfield, do you what is it like? It'd be the fifth team in like 2.5 years? That's no stability. Look, if he can get something around the Daniel Jones deal with the Giants, if I'm Baker, I'm like in. And here's the other thing we don't know. Maybe Baker and his family like the warm weather of Tampa. Maybe they like the atmosphere. Those are the things we don't know that we have to ask them. But it looks like they have a pretty good young nucleus. They have a head coach that people like. And if you bring back Mike Evans, that checks a lot of boxes for me. Now, is he going to get $50 million? Probably not. But anything in the neighborhood of the Dak or Daniel Jones deal, I think that's pretty reasonable on both ends for a solid starting quarterback in 2024.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I could pay him $40 million. I just think, Steve.
Well, Daniel Jones got 40, didn't he? Didn't he get something around? I mean, geez.
He got more than that, didn't he? I don't know. But you saw the team that went to a playoff, who won a playoff game, go to signing him and then not even being close. Like, I'm looking at that as like, we have to start looking at the quarterbacks we're paying a lot of money to and the rosters that are deteriorating because of it. And I think it's just getting worse and worse, man. Our rosters are getting worse, and that's why football is becoming more watered down, in my opinion.
And look, if Tampa Bay could sign him to a deal that's similar to Geno Smith at Seattle, that's solid. Now, maybe Baker thinks, no, I'm better than Geno. I'm younger. I have more upside. But the thing with Baker is this. He's a fiery competitor. He has the ability to throw the ball pretty well. But his size will always be a little bit of an issue, and he doesn't make up for it with, I would call, extraordinary athletic ability to make up for that size. But he's good. Like, I don't think he's a bust. I don't think he's a franchise guy. Like, do I think he has the ceiling of a Jordan Love? No, but quarterbacks are hard to find. They're not a dime a dozen.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Steve, I appreciate it. Football Palooza Sunday. I'll see you Thursday before that. And then Palooza Day. E-Dub's coming down. We're going to watch.
Wow. What an honor. All right. What about you, Smitty? You got the permission pass for Sunday?
We'll see. I'm 30, man. I'm 30.
What does that mean, you're 30?
Because, long drive. I'm older. We'll see. We'll see what I can make it happen.
Steve lives right next to you.
Yeah, what are you, Fred Flintstone? What are you walking on your feet? Give me a break.
If Steve pick me up, that might be the way to go.
I can pick you up, but God, don't make it. Oh, you're gonna trust an Asian driver? Boy, you are playing with you.
You're the only one.
You must like to gamble. Oh my God.
Hey, Steve, I'll see you Thursday. Tank Johnson next. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 5. Peace. First team meeting yesterday, and the two spearheads and figure face of the show program, Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh, were in Paris doing a runway walk. Do you think this is conducive to successful behavior in winning a Big 12 title and going to a bowl game? I just want to know what you thought of the construction worker, Shedeur Sanders, and the camel wearing baby oil, Shiloh. Please give us your thoughts.
Boy, I'll put it like this. I definitely see why people hate Colorado so much. I mean, you're going to miss the first team meeting when we get back for a fashion show and runways in Paris, bro. I know that everybody at Colorado is going to get super pissed off at me for saying this, but I'm not.
I gotta help you. I gotta dive in and save you, homie.
You don't know what to do here, bro. Like I
gotta save you, dude.
Hey, man, I
gotta save you. I gave you the full picture. Man, you gotta cut this for Matt, dude.
No, geez, thanks for setting me up like this, you asshole, and making me. This is amazing. In here, dog. I don't do the whole fashion thing. Number one, it's not important to me, and team meetings are important, and I don't know the answer to this question. Anything I say is wrong. Everybody's going to get angry at me for having an opinion. If I don't agree with them that they should go do their fashionista stuff, then I'm a piece of shit. And if I do agree with it, then I'm a fashion icon or something. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand the question.
Let's break it down with Smitty for a few minutes. We got it going. This is last game, obviously. We just got, thanks to my main man, Chad, DV Sport.
Empty.
Yeah,
draw.
empty.
Screen. Draw.
Some people made some comments recently in the media, former players, Ray Lewis being one of them. Ray Lewis said, without Swift being on the field as the Mike backer, I'm calling out this offense to a T. Right now, it's QB run game or quick game, and that is not his strength. His strength, he could be a runner and empty, but I know right now that, okay, we know what we're doing. We're going to go man across the board and take your quick game away, force you to throw fade balls, which is the most unsuccessful ball in the NFL, and make you be a runner and then risk injury. So without Swift on the field, they are very one-dimensional in what they do offensively. Also, what I witnessed is a lot of the route combinations are so bad. I was like, this is a bad high school route combination run team. There were guys running into each other. And then on the third point is, every time Hurts would scramble drill this, Matt, as you know, and coaches know, and Smitty knows, we had to – Smitty on D-line would do a retrace drill, I'm sure, at practice on chasing down the scramble drill. And then on offense, the receivers and everybody should be what? Flatlining to the QB sprint side so we can get open for the Q. I did not see any of it, man. I see a bunch of walking around. It's a bad orchestrated offense for an NFL franchise. So I'm curious. This is third down, and we go empty. We throw it our second down. We go empty. We get a little, out route cut. Tampa basically played a basic vanilla defense. And all right. We are back in the building. Of course, I'm back first. Smitty, 30-year-old. That generation just lazy, just unwilling to work hard, man. That's really what it comes down to. But my main man, Tank Johnson, is in the house, 10-year NFL vet, always bringing the real educated perspective. Tank Johnson, welcome, my
man. Yeah, what's up, brother?
Hey, you made it in the 70s too, right? Or no?
81, baby, 81.
81 was already gang banged out.
Hey,
so
man.
Look, I tell people that all the time, dog. I'm like, where was you born? 88? I was like, shit, I was in the precipice of gangbanging in Compton. Tank Johnson joins us, Smitty. He joined us before you came back. He beat you. Again, the young always get beat. The young, lazy generation we got dealing with that right now. It's just unfortunate that we got to deal with the 30-year-olds of this world.
I had to, you know what I mean? I had to release the anaconda, man. Take a quick little piss. I'm back now. We back.
What do they say? TMI?
Pause. I'm pausing TMI. I don't need all that, Smitty. It's too early for that shit, buddy.
Too early. We've been up since 5 a.m. on the West Coast. You better wake up.
Hey,
I've been cooking JB for 3 hours already.
Facts.
Tank, we know that ain't fact, but I'm exhausted, Tank. It is what it is.
Why,
but there's
baby?
no excuses. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody got them, and they all stank. So we already know the business. Tank, I got to ask you though. Cliff Kingsbury was rumored to interview for the OC job in Chicago, your former franchise that you played, bled, sweat, cried for. He did not get it. They ended up hiring a guy that's been doing some things in Seattle with Geno Smith. I'm very curious as your thoughts on this hire, because if Cliff was going to get the job, I'm thinking, okay, we've seen the end of Justin Fields because he's linked directly to Caleb Williams at SC. That's where he's coaching at right now. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But now you hire this cat who's basically a West Coast guy, a McVay guy, who's more of a Stafford-style, Geno Smith-style guy. How does that help Justin Fields? Or is this the end of Justin Fields and they trade him?
Well, I've always said this, right? Like, Justin Fields, the number one thing he needs to get is get comfortable with a coach and his playbook. He's got a particular style that he's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he's got those attributes in his game. And I think if you can find a coordinator that can kind of stack the playbook with things that are beneficial for him, I think that's the most important. And in my opinion, as a Bears fan, like, do I want to start all over with a new quarterback? And if you start all over, You got to give him that 3-year, 4-year, 3-year window nowadays. You got to give him a 3-year window. And so we're so invested in Fields. I'm almost of the mindset, like, keep him and just try to get the quarterback around him. And I think, we've seen, Geno, he's had a resurgence in his career. And I think that's a big deal. And so any coach that took Geno's skill set and turned him into something successful, I think that bodes well for my young Fields in Chi-Town.
I know Smitty has a question, but I got to ask you, like, from a coaching perspective, I don't know if Shane Waldron hasn't had discussions either with his agent in this profession, as we all know, controls a lot of the narratives. They've already done the research with the head coach and the GM to say, hey, my guy's not taking this job unless we have assurances from XYZ about XYZ. Now, having said that, does Shane Waldron accept this gig, though? Because in my opinion, we all know in this room talking on this chat that quarterbacks and players get coaches fired, not the other way around.
Facts.
So if Justin Fields is going to be there, Shane Waldron has accepted the fact that this is going to be the quarterback who may or may not get Eberflus fired next year, because they just gave him a year now. Yeah. If he gets him fired, I'm fired too as the new OC in Shane Waldron. Does he not take that job unless something's been assured to him? Like, there's no way he takes that job unless either A, they're going in a new direction with a new QB that extends the Eberflus era of 3 years, or B, what you just alluded to, or B, we're not firing Eberflus. We're going to give you guys 2 more years at least with Justin Fields. I'm curious on this dynamic. A lot of people won't break down on mainstream media. I don't think Shane Waldron takes the gig unless something's been assured to him.
Yeah, you don't attach your wagon to a lame duck coach. You bring your family and you move them across the country. And the only way you're going to do that is if you've got something specifically in writing saying that you're the head coach in waiting or whatnot. I mean, we've seen, they might as well just have coaches living in Airbnbs right now, because if these guys mess it up, we're all out of here. So I think that's a great point, JB. I think, no, you don't take the job because Eberflus is on thin ice. He doesn't have a very long leash, and it wouldn't be a good job to do that.
Yeah, I agree. What's your thoughts on Vrabel being replaced with the son of I love to call out the NFL and the nepotism that we see, because it happens in college, high school, NFL, you name it. It's a good old boy network. We all know that. Let's just keep it funky. That having said that, though, I've known this kid since he was a youngster, being Bill Callahan's son. Great O-line coach, by the way, but this guy has yet to call an offensive play in the NFL, contrary to belief, which is, I'm telling you, fact, not assumption. We hire titled OCs in this league more than anybody. We've seen it in Minnesota. McVay clearly calls the offense, but the offensive coordinator title belonged to the head coach now in Minnesota. We saw that with Mike McDaniel in Miami, what he did in Frisco, and we see it all the time. This guy is not inheriting a NFL big-time quarterback. Unless I'm missing something, I'm just trying to figure out why we're hiring him over a guy that's a manager of humans, a leader of men in Mike Vrabel. I don't get it. Make it make sense, please.
I think the offensive coordinator is where we hide nepotism in plain sight. That's the space where you shove your son or somebody and you say, hey man, just keep your head low and keep firing. And it's unfortunate because we end up with these no-name guys, and that they don't have they're not proven in the galvanizing a locker room, being able to get guys motivated and all that. They're proven to be, like you said, great managers. You can hold the clipboard, you can keep the plays on track and not fuck it up. And I think we got to start going for some more dynamic guys there and get those guys in a position to be head coaches, and guys who are proven up through the ranks and not just kind of somebody's boy, because like I said in the beginning, that's where they hide nepotism in plain sight.
No, for sure. And I know I spoke on this a little earlier already, but like I just think the league is all trying to steer young, and the young offensive coordinator with the creative mind is the route that a lot of these teams are going due to the success of like a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan or a LaFleur with Green Bay. They've seen these young cats with these great offensive minds, so to speak, has some high levels of success, whether that's winning a lot of regular season games, going to the Super Bowl, or even winning the Super Bowl. So I think a lot of teams are just trying to stay on that trend, and this is another example of that. Will he succeed? I don't know. We've seen high levels of guys succeeding. We've seen situations of them not. You mentioned Mike McDaniel. Although the Dolphins kind of fell short in the playoffs, they still had a hell of a regular season for Miami Dolphins standards and where they've been in recent years. So we've seen it work. Will it work this time? Only time will tell.
I've said it before before Smitty joined the show years ago, over the years, and I'm always going to keep it real and stand on this. Like, I got partners that are coaching right now, guys like myself who I think can get a kid to run through a wall for him, regardless of color, where he's from, fucking what position, that are getting walked over and passed by for guys that we're mentioning. And one that I mention all the time, two in particular, is the Belichick's. He has two guys on his staff that are his sons, arguably coach, if we're going to be real here. One of the motherfuckers coaches a 100% black position, secondary. And the other one coaches linebackers, which is 50-50. My point is, I know a shitload of young coaches that are better than those two that will never get a job, that will never get looked at or hired because of this particular thing. And nepotism's so bad right now, Tank, that we're slick with it. Now we're taking states like Kansas who have a nepotism hiring law. You can't hire within. Guess what they're getting slick with? Now the head coach at K-State called Jimbo Fisher at A&M, another, by the way, good old boy extension, and said, hey, bring my son on as a GA. So guess what? That's nepotism, contrary to belief. He just jumped over Smitty, Tank, myself, and Emma, and got this motherfucker a job at Texas A&M because he couldn't hire him in his own state at his own school, but it's still nepotism. It's all who you know and who knows you. I know too many good young brothers and white kids that are fucking hungry, legit, and go-getters that will not get a gig because of this rule. And I just think it's unfortunate. And I'm glad that the Floreses of the world that got basically, we could argue, could maybe get blackballed going up against Brass in Miami by saying, nah. I'm so glad that someone hired him and kept him alive in the business. But we have a lot of cats that could have easily been blackballed in this business, like a Flores. And I'm glad he stuck around because hopefully he can get back on top and get a job again because he is a good damn coach and has a winning record versus Belichick, I believe. But he'll be looked at as a lame duck. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's a real quick comment before we move on. Devil's advocate here. I guess so. Like, for example, let's say you guys have sons. Let's say you're coaching and you have sons who are coaching, and let's say you're in a position where you are a head coach of an NFL team.
I would never let him coach with me.
You're not gonna help your son, put your son on. I'm not saying coach underneath you, but you're not gonna help position them somewhere, whether that's at the college level or with another NFL team. I know I damn sure am. All kids, all people. I think nepotism is sprinkled in across the board in a lot of places. I'm gonna be real. I got my foot in the door at Fox Sports because of a connection. My degree wasn't in journalism or fucking broadcasting. I have a business degree in marketing, but I got that opportunity and I maximized the hell out of it because of my work. And now I'm where I'm at because of where I'm at. But a lot of time it does take somebody to believe in you, to give you opportunity, give you a chance. You don't think these rich athletes and their sons are not going to have better lives? You think Bronny's not going to have a better life because his dad's LeBron? Or so like, I get what you guys are saying. It's like the guys who just got out the mud, didn't have no handouts, whatever. It might be harder on them. I get it. Yeah. But I'm not going to diss the person who got some help along the way. Like, if Tank looks out for me because he knows who I am, I'm supposed to be like feel bad because, or JB looks out for me because I asked JB to hit somebody up the other day about an event I'm throwing next month to see if I can get the person out there. That's my connection. That's my network. That's what I'm able to do. I shouldn't be like looked down upon because I had a connection. I think in the Black community specifically, we only praise the people who just started at ground zero and just had to climb our way out, no help, nothing. Why can't we praise the people who had good parents or good connections, good whoever, and they actually gave them a little handout, helped them out a little bit? Like, I don't think it's bad to get help, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the way I see it is like you've got nepotism and then you've got gatekeeping, right? And those are the things that when you have a position and you're actively keeping certain people out of position due to whatever beliefs you have, that's gatekeeping. I don't necessarily. I hope, like I said on a couple other shows back, man, I pray I'm in a position to give my daughters an opportunity someday, but they have to earn it. And if there's another more qualified candidate, then I'm being in a position to either be gatekeeping or choosing nepotism. And so I think you've got to kind of you've got to learn the difference between those two, because I think that's kind of the gray area when you talk about nepotism and gatekeeping. I think there's a gray area there.
To answer Smitty, this is a deep conversation. Probably could take a 3-hour show up.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. Like, to Smitty's point, the problem isn't what you said, it's how it is being conveyed. And I've had a good friend of mine, Noel Mazzoni, who's a big time, been in the NFL, who's coached major college systems, Power Fives. Texas A&M, was there with Johnny Manziel. He was the offensive coordinator on a lot of teams, UCLA, Auburn. He's been everywhere. He's been on the show, and he has a son. His son was a GA at UCLA while he was the offensive coordinator. He then got the head coaching job in the USFL 2 years ago. And then he got offered other college jobs again, obviously. And then every single big time gig he took, we had these conversations, and he said it on the show. I was not giving my son a job because his son would be dependent on who he knew, which was his daddy, and not for what he knew, which was football. It's who you know, not what you know. And he didn't know enough football yet. So Noel didn't want to attach his name to his own son for being his son. He wanted him to attach as my son for being a good football coach. And he said, get the fuck out of here. And he sent him, and to your point now, it's easier when you're Noel Mazzoni and you call up Tank Johnson and say, hey, Tank, I know you're the head coach over here at Idaho, smaller school, but I need my son to get out from underneath me.
Bingo.
Now, here's the point. Here's the big point I'm making, though. Name me a coach that's left a Belichick staff who has won or had success. I'll wait, as y'all say. Name me a coach who's had family members that they've anointed in the profession have great success. I'll wait. The ones that have success are the ones Tank and I are discussing from the bottom, the grinders. And that is why you don't give a guy nepotism. Not because, yeah, it's easy and that's my daddy and I'm Bronny James' daddy and all that. I get all that. That's going to happen on its own by attrition. It's going to happen. But let's make it where you earn it. Not just be. There's two differences, and we're going into Lamar and all this. Last year, I've said Lamar is very, very worthy of his paycheck. I said it last year. He is worthy. Has he earned it, though, is a completely different discussion, in my opinion. Yeah. He is worthy of it. Fucking great character kid, great kid, never had an issue off the field, blah, blah, blah. I love the kids to death. But is he earned the money? There is a difference, I think, in generational gaps where we're always going to have a disagreement in this, especially Smitty and I in the age group.
Always.
Earn it versus worthy of it.
Because define earn. I don't know what that means. I didn't earn my job at Fox Sports. I didn't earn it. I did it. Not initially. I didn't.
But can you accept that? Can you admit that?
I'm telling you that right now.
That's what I'm saying.
There's probably cats. There's some cats that definitely probably got broadcasting school, journalism, all that shit. That by their resume, should have technically gotten opportunity above me. I damn sure didn't earn the role to get on TV. You know, like social media, a lot of people can learn social media. That's what we all do that. But to get on live TV, I didn't earn that technically. But I went on there and I killed. But I went on there and I killed that shit. So what does that mean? So what does that mean? Like,
but to your point, JB, it's like when you have to forge your own path and your way up, you learn all those lessons that
toughen your skin too.
Yeah, you learn all those lessons that you don't learn when you're just put on in a position. And, you know, to kind of like talking about like this, for example, like this Belichick tree, right? And how all these coaches leave from up under him and go and fail miserably at their next spot because they're trying to emulate Bill Belichick, and that's not how it goes. It's those people who've had to, you know, go up through the ranks. Those are the people who have the experience, in my opinion, that matters on the highest level of sports.
I just think they are at the end of the day, they have things that they're going to see and face things that they can get out of or have an answer for a problem. Whereas the nepotism kid or guy will face a problem and he'll fold. The motherfucker won't know he's entitled. And not saying Smitty or some of these guys that have gotten these jobs are entitled, but I know a billionaire, for instance, that is the biggest entitled pussy. Anytime something gets hard and in his face, that motherfucker crumbles. He folds, and he's a billionaire because they gave him the money. He didn't go earn it and learn how to attain it and retain it. And that is the problem with a lot of these guys that I see, not only in college football, but in the NFL. I think Tank knows that as well. But the reason I said to the Lamar topic, and the reason I said I believe he is worthy of it, but he hasn't earned it yet, is because if you can pay a guy like Deshaun Watson, who has had off the field issues, regardless of what we think they are or know or they are or assume they are, alleged issues, right? To me, he got the bag, an ungodly amount of money. So you better fucking pay Lamar Jackson, who has had zero issues like that and has been available for the most part. I mean, he missed 10 games over the last 2 years, but at the end of the day, he is fucking worthy of the bag if you're going to give it to a guy like Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson,
Daniel Jones.
But this was before. I'm talking about Carson Wentz, Derek Carr. I'm talking about dudes that have never done shit. You better give it to Lamar then. So that was my whole argument forever. So people that always come at me of, oh, you're a Lamar hater. No, I've been in his back for the fucking duration. I just don't think he's the guy. I just don't think
you are a hater. You do be hating on Lamar.
No, it's not a hate.
And here we are, JV. Here we are. We finally got here.
All right, well, we only got 15 minutes, so I'm glad Tank's joining us for this because Tank brings a hell of an insight to this. Here's an issue I have. I want you both together to define the difference between the hate and the truth. I'm just curious because I got to get it out here so we are clear on the debate we're about to have because I want to know the difference between hate and the truth.
You always find a way to diminish his success, right? So you always find some other outside entity that is responsible for his success, whether it be defense or he got 5 turnovers. That, you know, when you are deliberately throwing hate into the equation, and you're not just face value. The guy's he's a winner. He's improved tremendously. He is leading his team. He's an MVP candidate. I mean, do you want to nitpick and find bad things about him because he didn't complete a pass or whatnot? If you look at what our generation says about these young players, he's done everything that is by the book from us. He earned it. He's faced the music. He's winning the offseason. He's gotten better, become a better leader. And if you can't tip your hat to that, you's a motherfucking hater.
So when he loses, what am I?
What do you mean?
What is he when he loses? You just pointed out all the things. When he wins, I negate his winning attributes. So when he loses, what the fuck is it then?
You're an even bigger hater.
Oh my goodness, you motherfuckers is blinded, dog. It really is. So let me be clear. I want to be clear on my resume. It isn't a 10-year NFL veteran like Tank says, but it's an NFL practice squad. It's NFL Europe. It's arena ball. So I got to check. I'm still in the 1 percentile of human beings. Having said that, I have 28 playing in the NFL, 3 NFL QBs, 10 first rounders drafted. Now, I think my resume is a professional one. So I think I'm an evaluator of talent. I've done this for a long time. I picked Jermaine Johnson when nobody said he would play, and he was a first rounder. So let me be clear. I think I know what I'm talking about in this thing.
Now you're Mel Kiper.
Talk your shit, JV.
I mean, I'm be clear. I'm not to say Tank and Smitty don't. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is people out here automatically call me a hater as if I'm a guy that has never gone through any of the shit I'm discussing. So I wanted to be clear here on this resume so I can drop that. Secondly, we're talking about the position not only that I played, but have I coached for a long, long time. So when I break the film down, I'm not just discussing fantasy points by my fucking fantasy quarterback. I'm actually showing you why he has not gotten better whatsoever in his 6 years mechanically. But I can show you that Jalen Hurts has gotten better mechanically in his first 3 years. But I can't show you why Lamar has. But then we talk about his coordinator in the public eye. Oh, it was Roman's fault. Well, he was an MVP under Roman and had some of the best successful seasons of his career. Now, this year, he's on the precipice of going to the Super Bowl, and now he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Let's keep it funky. Because you all are saying it's because the coordinator. And I'm like, hold on. I don't agree to that at all. I think that he is a victim of what you have done for me lately. And we wouldn't be talking about this at all if he wasn't on the precipice of going to a Super Bowl. Keep it real. We'd be talking about him losing again. This is the first year's Tank that he's in this position. He's 2-3 in the playoffs. So I just want to know how I'm a hater. I've always said I hope he wins. I've always said he's a great kid. I know his personal guy that recruited him. I'm trying to figure out how I'm a hater when I just call out that his elbow drops to his kneecap and the ball's inaccurate, but I'm a hater. I just don't get it, dog. It's the same way with Mahomes. But I'm a racist because he's a black quarterback. But nobody calls me racist when I'm talking shit about Herbert. Sorry ass. Josh Allen's overrated ass. Derek Carr's overrated ass. But I'm a racist when it comes to Lamar and Mahomes. No, I'm just an equal opportunist realist, and there ain't no hate involved. But go ahead.
I think you're a old white quarterback who thinks that
that's Smitty's argument.
Who should be played one way. Listen, I look at it like this. I look at Mahomes similar to like what Steph Curry did in the NFL or the NBA, right? Before, those were bad shots. If you can make those shots, they're good shots. Those same passes from Mahomes are bad passes if you don't complete them. They're great passes if you can complete them. Jackson is, I think, looking at the same way, and I think you've got to move off of this statuesque quarterback in the pocket and understand that not only is the game playing different, you've got receivers running on a lot different planes now. When it's not just go a post 9 and it's not that no more. It's almost like arena football mixed with regular football, and so you're gonna need different arm angles. You're gonna need to get outside the pocket and throw in different positions, and you got to accept that like this game that we know is gone. That whole thing is gone. And what's winning now is quarterbacks that can adapt to the game and coaching as well. And I think from your position, you're looking at everything as like 1997 4X shoulder pads, neck rolls, and that's just not the game no more, JB. And that's how you're grading these people, because you can tell, because you're talking about shit that you couldn't do. You couldn't do it, so it's bad. Fuck that. Not just because you couldn't do it, it doesn't make it bad. These guys can do it, and you got to tip the cap to these young fellas.
So first of all, those are the only cats, Lamar Jackson and those types are only kids I would ever recruit, number one. Those are only kids that would actually run my offense, number two. 3 of them are in the chat right now. So that is false, what you just said. I believe the game has changed.
I think it's true. It's what do they say nowadays? It's my truth.
Yeah, well, I don't. Here's the truth, though, and this is facts, as Smitty says. Show me a Lamar Jackson who's won a fucking Super Bowl. I'm waiting. I'll wait for all y'all to tell me that Russell Wilson won it.
We're playing for the future, JB. We're not playing for the past.
Russell Wilson ad-libbed with his feet. He wasn't a runner. Let's keep it funky. Until Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl, you all keep the same energy, homie, because I ain't seen not one of them win a Super Bowl yet. So if I am the old man on the crowd talking about the stiff QB win Super Bowls, because they fucking do. Show me a quarterback that's running around who's won a Super Bowl, homie.
You are actually right though right now. I'm not even gonna argue that. You are right. I'm not arguing that.
Hold on, Smitty, my bad. I'm a college guy. I want Lamar Jackson to be my quarterback all fucking day long. But when I go to the NFL, I know what's sustainable. Lamar Jackson has missed 2 seasons because he gets hurt. And he's not available for my team to win a Super Bowl. But I'm the hater.
But he listen.
And Burrow has missed 2 seasons for standing in the pocket.
Because he has no line, but we moved the narrative with Joe Murrow.
Hold on, JB. Hold the fucking phone. Okay, so that was Lamar putting himself in harm's way was the knock on him early in his career. And he has improved to hold himself back, throw the ball from the pocket, move around, and become that Russell Wilson instead of taking off. Again, he's improving, and we're grading going toward the future. Okay, yeah, in the past, yeah, a lot of quarterbacks haven't had the opportunity to run a team and do all the things that are necessary and have the organization believe in them from top to bottom. Lamar, he has that now, and he's changed his game, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to win a Super Bowl in his career. And I mean, you can eat crow or whatever you say.
I hope he does.
It's going to happen.
I'm not hating would say, fuck no, I don't want Lamar ever to win. That's a hater. I hope Lamar fucking wins the Super Bowl. I'm on record saying it. I have no ill will versus Lamar Jackson. All I'm saying is the truth. And we keep trying to move shit around like it's not the truth. Like, I'm not saying Lamar is not a fucking most freakish, athletically gifted dude we've ever seen play the position. All I'm saying is, what has he done? And now we're bringing it up because he's on the precipice. He's there. He's right there. And we all can smell it. And we're like, oh, fuck. He's now the greatest thing, Smitty. He's the greatest thing. No, he's not, because because of what have we done for me lately, world we live in. Because if he would have lost last week, y'all would have been like, oh, well, fire Harbaugh.
But it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, JB. That's what I'm saying. His skill set mixed with the proper coaching, it hasn't been close. The last time they played the 49ers, it wasn't even close. And so you've got to be able to, just like when you're looking at stocks, you've got to be able to look at trends and see, like, okay, it's trending in the right direction. You're a person who sees it trending in the right direction and hope it don't happen. Nah, it's trending in the right direction for all the right reasons. It isn't like he's throwing into double coverage and his receiver is snatching the ball. It isn't like he's running 80 yards every series. No, he's doing all the things that traditional quarterbacks do with a little sauce on it.
Everything offensively in Baltimore goes through Lamar. When you watch the games, that's why I don't care about the stats. He only has 24 touchdowns. Nah, but watch the game though. So if I got us all the way down to the fucking 5-yard line and I hand the ball off, yeah, I don't get the touchdown for that. But watch the game though. Watch the tape. How do we get down to this position to score? I'm responsible for that touchdown, even though I don't get that statistic. And that's why I say he's the clear MVP. I think it's easy to look at stats. The stats don't tell the full picture. Lamar deserves the credit for how great this team is. This team would not be rolling like this with just throwing any quarterback in that system. You could not tell me that.
And I would argue Lamar can't go to another team and do what he's doing either.
Well, so they would adjust the system based upon him.
He's shown the ability to learn it and adjust.
Here, listen, and to be fair to you guys, this is my takeaway from this debate.
What do you mean, you guys?
You two. What do you mean, you guys?
But what do y'all mean?
What are you?
Hey, Tropical Thunder is one of the best movies ever, by the way. Let me break this down, though. Let me ask you this. To your point, I will eat crow and come up to understanding and agree that the league has changed. It is changing. It's ever changing, and it's changing more than Tank and I probably would like. Smitty's probably not so much hurt by it because he don't know the old way, to his fairness, not a knock. It's just his fairness.
I watched Peyton, Brady, and Phillip Rivers. I watched enough.
I know you watched them, but I'm just saying, like, to Tank's point, the fabric of the game, which I keep saying because Tanks said that and it stuck with me. The fabric has changed. It's deteriorating. It's ripping apart at the seam. So the game has changed, to your fair point. Now, having said that, I will eat crow and say, in this game, day and era, yes, these are the guys that will be winning in the future. And I'm all for it. I'm fine with it. But let's be clear about it. I'm not going to be the yes man and agree that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread just because motherfuckers want me to. Like, I'm not putting ahead of a lot of guys that have played this position and got Super Bowl wins. I'm just not going to do it. In this era, yes, Lamar could be the GOAT. In this generation of not hitting the QB, not rerouting the wide receivers, not being able to do shit that Tank and I could do, yes, he could be. So I will, what do you want me to say, assimilate or agree that this has changed and we are in that era. But I'm not going to say this motherfucker is the guy just because the era's changed either. So I'm just going to be clear on both sides. I do agree with you, but at the same time, I'm still going to be me. And I don't think he has gotten better. I think the system's changed this year, kept him from running around like Tank alluded to, which has kept him upright. And I believe he does have a few better weapons, and it's helped him. But let's be clear. We're talking about him being an MVP, to my fair point of mediocrity is the new excellence, dog. This is a league where the quarterback position is missing guys like Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and others in the AFC, where we don't know how good the AFC would be. He's thrown for 24 touchdowns and 7 picks, 3,600 yards. Great year for him, yardage-wise. But he's 11th.
Do you kill an ant with a sledgehammer?
No, but he's 11th in the NFL in touchdowns.
If all that's required is what he's done, and he's now the MVP, that's all that's required, bro. You don't need
the MVP is my question.
You don't need to. He's
the best player on the best team in the NFL, and we got to stop bringing up these mobile dual threat quarterbacks and avoiding all rushing stats. That fucking counts. We do the same thing with Cam Newton, the same thing with Lamar. He's throwing 20, so the rush yards don't matter at all. So if the motherfucker rush for 1,000 yards, that just don't matter at all. If he runs for 6 that don't matter at all.
He has 5 rushing touchdowns.
Well, let's always list that, and the yards too. Let's list
hold on, no.
All that.
So am I going to be reverse racist when I say Josh Allen's fucking has 50 touchdowns?
I never called you racist. Don't throw that at me. I ain't never called you racist.
Am I reverse racism to the white folks? Is what I'm saying. Josh Allen has 50 touchdowns, homie.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Big Smitty just said, don't discount the rushing touchdowns. It's not like Lamar had 20. He had 5. So total, Lamar has 29 touchdowns. Just so we're clear, he's 14th in the league in touchdowns, and he has 14 guys ahead of him has thrown more touchdowns than him or accounted for more touchdowns. 11 have accounted for more yards. But again, my point, we are in a league where his team is allowing him to be the MVP. Keep it real. He ain't the fucking MVP. He's on the best team on a team that has a top 5 defense, maybe of all time. Now, that Tank will say I'm a hater because I'm moving the goalpost. No, I'm not. I'm telling you, he's 14th. He's 14th in the NFL in touchdowns and yards. How is it the NFL is the MVP? Or are we just accepting mediocrity? That's all.
The real always say stats are for losers. Let me tell you why. Because you can generate a stat and make anything. I took statistics in college. You can change stats to whatever you want. Like I said, you do not need to kill an ant with the sledgehammer. If 24 touchdowns and 5 rushes got us as the #1 team, because let me tell you this: if he had 20 interceptions and the shit went off the rails, it would be a different conversation, right? But he has what needed to be done to get his team in position. And if you can't acknowledge that, then you're a hater.
Hey, y'all, listen. I wish I could talk about this for 30 more minutes. I do got to go, unfortunately, because I got some important calls I got to hop on for this event. But Tank, you might have to come back on again this week. I don't know, because this is a good conversation. We might have another hour to talk about this.
Hey, Smitty, you take your ass out of here. Tank and I will end it with some hell yeah, hell no. And appreciate you, Smitty. Much love to you and Tank. We'll go back to this again.
Appreciate you, Tank, for having my back, man. I'll be out here solo dolo, man, but I appreciate you having my back on this.
I got you, G. I got you.
All right, peace.
All right, Tank. All right, Smitty. All right, Tank. Let's get Smitty. Be lying. He got a whole damn chat and I having his back. All right. Hell yeah, hell no with Tank Johnson. 2 old school cats in here. We're gonna do some hell yeah, hell no to end the show. Let me ask you this first of all, though. Is Brock Purdy a bus driver or a bus rider? It's not included in this hell yeah, hell no. Is he a bus rider or a bus driver in your estimation?
I think he is a bus driver, and he's just staying in a slow lane and not changing lanes and not trying to do nothing that he can't do.
Yeah. I like the poll question was, does Purdy need Debo to win? Most people think yes.
Yeah.
We've seen without Debo, they folded, they've struggled. We can also say Trent Williams, and we can also say CMC. And that goes for any team. I think everyone needs their team if they're going to be the guys. I think CMC's the bus driver. I think he got loose in that game, crippled the Packers back. I think the Packers dominated the game for the most part.
You don't think Shanahan's the bus driver?
No, I think CMC is.
You think he's the one that makes the bus go?
Yeah, Shanahan, to me, if he don't win it this year, dog, I'm the only one on the record saying I think he's the most hyped, overrated coach. Again, a nepotism hire. What has he done? I'm trying to figure out how people keep saying he's the GOAT. I'm like, what in the fuck has he done besides choke off a Super Bowl and then choke off another one as a head coach and then lose last year to the Eagles? I'm trying to figure out what has he done. He has the most loaded roster. This is a whole nother discussion, but he continues to have the most loaded roster. And I believe he went after Tom Brady, from what I've heard, for a reason. Because I think he knows that this guy is a bus rider and needs all things perfect to win in the league. Purdy, I'm referring to. So, I don't know. Hell yeah, hell nah. Big Tank, brought to you by betonline.ag. Here we go. Is Joel Embiid's 70-point performance last night more impressive than Kobe's 81? Hell yeah, hell nah.
Hell nah. I watched him go to the lane, and I saw a guy fake covering him and went like this, and he got a layup. It was almost like the other team was cheering for him to get more points. Hell no, man. It just looked it looked like a LA Fitness run. Terrible.
Hey, that's my point with this new generation of football, though. This is the jersey swap era, dog. That's why I'm so hard for me to anoint a cat as the GOAT nowadays, like Patrick Mahomes wants to be given the GOAT name so hard by the Queendom fan base. I just can't do it in this era, but that's to your point. I saw 2 guys run by him on a dunk, and I'm like, you think the fucking old school Lambeer wouldn't have clotheslined that motherfucker? You are crazy.
We're not watching your show. I will foul the shit out of you, bro. I couldn't even, like, when I saw the highlights, I was like, they was cheering for the dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, and Kobe had 73 through 3 one night. That was even more impressive than the 81, in my opinion, against the Dallas. So, hell yeah, hell nah. Are NFL kickers underappreciated?
Underappreciated?
Because Tank, we started the week off this week, and we started off with a banger, and I'm like, Jordan Love is now being called a loser. So is Josh Allen, because of a field goal kicker missing a kick to put the Packers up 10, to put the Bills tie, etc. When we don't talk about Tom Brady being the GOAT because of a guy named Adam Vinatieri. So I'm just trying to figure out, I think kickers maybe get a bad rap in all this. They never mention them as the GOAT.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. Listen, I played on the team with the great Robbie Gould, and during our Super Bowl run in Chicago, we went by defense scoring touchdowns and winning on his foot. So maybe in the big scheme of things, they are underappreciated. So hell yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Hell yeah. I think they get looked over because if they miss it, boy, this guy for the Bills last night, he's deleting his social media, Big Tank, because they're giving him death threats. So, like, if he ain't underappreciated, then shit. Because if he would have won the game, he'd have all the pussy today.
He'd have it all.
Hell no. The Raiders make the playoffs next season.
I say hell yes. I don't know if I don't know all of the coaches he's going to have around him, but I do believe that like the players have been waiting for stability and somebody that they can really,
run through a wall for.
Yeah. So I think they make it.
I'm with you. Hell yeah. I got belief in my Compton brother, and he's hired Marvin, NFL guy that's had a lot of success. Your coach, right?
Yeah, I had Marvin in Cincinnati. Yep.
He's hired him. I think he's going to go get a couple of young go-getting OCD, guys like that. And I think he could have Marvin come in as that daddy figure of a mentor, of a analyst, tell you yay or nay on certain things you're doing culturally or structurally, which you have to have, I believe.
I don't mean to sound like a hater on this, but Marvin Lewis's career is kind of propped up by being the D coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens when they were absolutely unstoppable. And like I said, coaches get credit for the players' job that they do on the field, and it stays with them their whole career. I had Marvin as a head coach in Cincinnati, and I don't know, he's a great guy, but I don't know if he did anything like great X's and O's with our defense that made a big difference. And so to my earlier point, these coaches, they get to ride the wave.
Yeah. We'll end the show with what I was going to ask you, but yeah, the last one, hell yeah, hell no. Tank, if the Chiefs win another one, Mahomes will surpass Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Steve Young, and Troy Aikman in the GOAT conversation, giving him his third, upping Favre, Rodgers, and Young, tying Aikman.
Hell yeah. I say hell yeah, just because, look, people don't like to talk about how many times Aaron Rodgers got cooked in the NFC Championship and didn't
own him.
Yeah, and so, listen, I think if this guy goes and puts up these Lombardi numbers, it surpasses him.
Yeah, like I said, man, on this show, I've always gone against him in everything I do, but I also say that he's the best because he's winning right now. He's ahead of everybody else because he's actually winning, and that's the bottom line in this business. And you can say I'm a hater and all this shit, but I have him as my number one quarterback. I've done it on this show. I think Burrow is better as a ball spinner and all that stuff, but guess what? He ain't beat this motherfucker. He ain't beat Mahomes, and Mahomes owns him like he owns Josh Allen. And until those guys can get one, you can't even discuss them on the same page as the guy. I do think Andy Reid gets a lot of doesn't get enough credit, but at the same time, Mahomes is the figurehead of the organization. So having said that, it is what it is. I think he'll tie Aikman with 3, and he'll pass all the other ones. Yep. Now, to your point on the coaching thing with Marvin and all that, we'll end the show. Appreciate you jumping on here. I brought up yesterday the fact that Mike Tomlin is under huge scrutiny every year, it seems like, and he's never been under 500. But then I flipped it and said, why do we not hear John Harbaugh's name when it comes to not winning? Because they literally have the same exact postseason accolades, statistics, wins and losses. One hasn't won a Super Bowl since 10. The other one hasn't won it since 12. Let's just be honest. They're both the same guy to me. But one gets fire him every year. As of 3 weeks ago, Tomlin was on the outs until he won 3 in a row. And now he was he's never had a losing season, blah, blah, blah. Harbaugh has had some of the great defenses in the last 20 years, but only has 1 Super Bowl. The last I checked, it's the same amount that Tomlin has. I'm trying to figure out why one gets so much hate. The other one is anointed as the GOAT. And I'm like, well, he beat his brother when the lights went out in Frisco. Other than that, he literally hasn't done shit but go 2-3 in the playoffs with Lamar. So I'm trying to figure out why one gets a pass and one don't.
Well, I think it comes down to like organizational stability. And I feel like there are organizations that relent to public pressure. Like, you got to fire this guy. You got to get rid of this guy. And I think in Baltimore, they've understood what they're trying to do. And so it's almost a moot point to throw out, fire him every year. And I think with Tomlin, look, again, they've got organizational stability, and I think it just becomes white noise on the outside. And the people who are saying fire them, they don't matter in those rooms. They know what they're trying to accomplish. Do we have the personnel to accomplish that this year? Maybe not, but we know what we're trying to do. We kind of have our head on straight. And I think it's these organizations that as soon as the public says, fire this guy, then they start shaking in their boots and they start reacting to public pressure. And those are the organizations that will have new coaches every 4 or 5 years.
No doubt. Man, I got to thank Dr. Jesse Morris for hopping on, giving us the NFL injury updates for this Final Four playoffs Sunday coming up. The winner goes to the Super Bowl. Thanks to Steve Kemp for jumping on. Big Tank Johnson for popping on. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, before you leave, though, there'll be a Super Bowl game titled Who next Tuesday.
It'll be Baltimore versus, Detroit? Detroit?
Really? Let's go.
I like Detroit.
They got that aura. Like, this seems like one of those years something weird happens, huh?
Listen, they've got the right gel. The football gods love them, and I think they're going to push them all the way to the Super Bowl. You got to handle your business when you get there. This is a Tank Johnson jersey. We were great. We got there with the football gods, but we didn't handle our business on that day. So you're not going to win it, but you're going to get there. I think they get there.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. And if that happens, Shanahan better get the fucking axe. I'm just telling you right now, because there's no way you have the best roster in football every single year, according to the experts, and you lose. So it's like putting hubcaps on a Lamborghini. Better get a quarterback. Real talk, Tank. I appreciate you jumping on here. Much love to everybody. Pound the like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing, for Work Boot Wednesday. Right here. Become a member, pound the like, follow Tank Johnson 99 on Twitter and Instagram, and we will see you on the other side. Peace.
Missing, we switched it and filled the gap. Smitty and Jason Brown, we killed it, yeah, it's a wrap. We want the games we're missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
You are now tuned